I just want to say thank you all for first off coming in. It's really cool. I'm really excited to do this because it's just actually let me unmute myself now for my chat. All right. But no, I'm really excited to have you all here because for me, this was obviously misogyny and toxic masculinity is very regular and much more real for women and femme perceived people like on the regular. But I think one thing that really, and we're not talking about that specific moment here today, but like what really got me is when seeing like rape apologia on Twitter and stuff, and just how mind-blowing that was to me that we were still at that type of level with things.
Oh, wait, one moment. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Can I get a little CW for my chat for what we're going to be talking about?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Content warning for rape and sexual assault. Yeah. But seeing things like that online really blew my mind. And I think, especially in regards to like toxic masculinity and consent, I wanted to start talking about it a lot more and hear a lot more women and femme perceived people and then just of course men talking about like how we can fix it as well. So also with like education, that's things have to continue being like educated, and that's why I want it to be a reoccurring panel. And I'm so glad that you guys are all here because Shark, I know that you talk about this a lot. Merrick, I really was excited to have you come on too because you talk so much already with like sex work and consent, and you just really always kill it with how you talk about those things. So it was it was just, you always do it so eloquently and like in such a just a very easy way to learn. And so I was really excited to have you all here. Everyone, I'm sorry, but that was just where my head was at with both Shark and Merrick there. But like to get started on it, I'll introduce, we got Alec Gunter here. Many of you recognize him. We have Katarana here as well. Also, if you guys use command guests in my chat. We have Merrick DeVille. Sends rules. We try not to think about him.
Yes,
and Shark 300. And we were going to have Tina and Ray come. They just couldn't make it because of some life stuff. Hopefully that will come down later down the line. But and I actually asked Katarana for some advice on this as well. And that was, I think they brought up a really valid point there, is just bringing up marginalized voices first, and especially a lot of the people that are, the topic of this, especially with misogyny. Part of one thing that I wanted to talk with women and femme perceived people is hearing their own life experiences, and then obviously not for debate, but for like, how do we discuss these things and how do we move on and how do we educate? So, and that's the hope going down the line, as many intersectional voices as we can with trans women, with non-binary folk, with Black women, Muslim women, all sorts of things. That's what I'm hoping to do, continuing down this line with this panel. And then also, if we can, if anyone's interested in a Chat Vice-like segment where we can talk about men's issues and toxic masculinity and how to form relationships that aren't toxic, that aren't detrimental to both men's health and women, so, and non-binary folk. So with all of that started, actually, can all of you guys introduce a little bit about yourselves and what you do, starting with let's start with Katarana.
Sure.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. Hello, I'm Kat. You can also call me Katarana, or you can call me Katarane if you want to say it properly. It doesn't really matter. I stream. I've been on a break for a bit as I get settled. I am a physicist. I am about to start a research program for astrophysics, but I mostly do stream about politics and whatnot. I also go by she, they pronouns, and I identify as non-binary, but I do recognize most people that see me can recognize I have a twat due to the size of my boobs. So, yeah.
Merrick.
Yeah, hey, you were just doing introductions, right? I'm sorry, I was
Yeah.
fiddling with settings. Right, so I am I guess I'm a streamer now. I stopped streaming for a really long time. I've been trying to do it for the past couple of weeks. So I am, I think, mostly known for being a sex worker who is very prevalent in like a lot of Twitter lefty spaces. Yeah, so I talk a lot about feminism, I talk a lot about misogyny, I talk a lot about the left's relationship with sex workers, with the concept of sex work, and also with, you know, I think like I guess sort of like identifying and like deconstructing previously held beliefs about women and femme people. And I do a lot of like criticism of the left from the left. And I'm really, really happy to be here. I don't think I've ever been on a panel with you, Katarana, so I'm really like happy to be here with you. I'm really happy to meet you. I think I know pretty much everyone else here. Yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah. And Shark, thank you so much, Merrick.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Shark300. That's the word shark, the number 3, the letter O, and the word 0. I talk about basically nothing while doing basically nothing. I don't know why I have viewers. But this has turned out to be my job. So I'm gonna do what I can for my boys. All right. I love men. I am straight. I love men, and so that's why I talk about men's rights every now and again. I have a men's rights panel. I have a men's liberation panel with my good friend Sond. We stick together like piano keys. And once he's done being banned from Twitch, we're going to start that back up again. And it's going to be fun. I think we should also have Vermin, Vosh's friend, Vermin, there as well to talk about hookup culture. I think it should be fun. I think I've spoken to most all of these people before. I played some video games with some of y'all, but I'm happy to talk about it. It should be fun.
Yeah. Alec.
Hello, my name is Alec Gunter. I started streaming about a year ago, starting with gaming, and then moved into politics because Hassan Piker is really the reason that like I started streaming at all. So I got some more confidence and started streaming more politics stuff. I cover a lot of news stuff. I cover trans rights lately, especially with all the bills going on. Once in a while, I'll do like men's rights stuff. We'll watch some videos, some good, some mediocre, and some not so good, that, you know, kind of have overtaken the men's space on YouTube, and kind of comment on the good, the bad, and the not very poggers.
The not very poggers.
Yeah, the unpoggers, if you will. We do some meme streams now and then, and like I said, I've been doing this for about a year. I've been having a good time, so I'm just happy to be here. I haven't spoken to Katarana at all, so nice to meet you. And then Merrick, we've talked a little bit in chat, and Shark, we've talked a little bit over voice, and Sens and Seaweed, of course, we're buds. So nice to be here.
And bud number 2. Sens.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading the chat. Some
Yeah, my chat's gone a little bonkers today.
Good. Yeah. No, I'm Sens Rules. You can call me. A lot of people call me Sens or Speener is what my community calls me, or Speenus. You know, whatever works. Whatever works. You know, I've been streaming for like a year. I'm an aspiring ship poster and aspiring goblin motor. I just kind of the things I'm probably the best at is like I talk about a lot of queer politics stuff because it's my community. And I'm also pan. And then also, in addition to that, just kind of vibe on climate stuff because I have a degree in physics, but I also work in polling right now. So that's my job. So it's kind of just all over the place when I don't know. But I'm not burnt out in. Sometimes politics is like a little much when I'm like doing it all day. So, yeah.
Hey, 1 second. I need to.
And I'm just like the Batman. I watched the Batman last night. I'm just like him.
He is just like the
Instead of fighting crime, I'm fighting... I don't know. There we go. That's a banger joke, guys. Dropping.
You did good.
Hold on.
Yeah, we're trying our best here.
I'm fixing my sound alerts. I'm getting a lot of. It looks like I think I'm getting hit,
I think it's bots. I'm not sure.
Little bot.
scammed. Yeah.
Yeah. Love those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sends
My favorite
not a
part is
little
when like it makes you reach a milestone, so you check your followers and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm at 10.
I know, you're like,
and then it's done, and then it's like you actually have 5, and then you cry.
Yeah.
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 Thank you, Nightwolf,
I feel.
for turning on slow mode.
Sweet.
All right, guys. Let me just fix this real quick. I'm just turning off my alert so it doesn't keep on just going off like crazy.
I see.
Are you getting raided or what?
I'm getting like, spammed.
Spam hate raided?
Probably.
No.
Oh, of course. That
Guess
sucks,
maybe,
man.
Yeah,
That's
man.
my fault.
See, here's my first piece of chat advice. Do not hate raid. It's a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
So
That's
true.
pretty not sexy.
I didn't get hate rated yesterday, but I got a bunch of like sex bots in the YouTube chat. So that was really
Nice.
interesting. Yeah, I got a lot of sex bots. So the second piece of chat advice today is do not make YouTube sex bots. Don't make them. Do not release them onto the internet.
That sounds sexy, but I'm gonna venture a guess that it's not.
It's really not sexy.
Okay. So what
They're
are
not
they?
What are they
even-
doing?
They're not even promoting like a website or anything. They're just like, ooh, sexy big dick picture now. And you're like,
No hyperlink at all. It's just like.
go away. Yeah, there's not even a link.
It just makes me feel. It just makes me think of like the Rick and Morty sex bots. You know?
Wait, no,
Nice.
I
The-
don't know anything about this. What
No,
is
they're
this?
like the gestators. They're like they found one on like some random planet, and they thought it was just like a sex robot, but then it ended up being like from an alien planet and like gestated a baby. So yeah, it was
Incredible.
quite interesting.
Oh
Absolutely
yeah, they're doing
incredible.
all the
There we go.
potato.
I just muted alerts. Jesus, I hate that. That's so annoying.
Yeah, sorry, that might be my fault actually. I was like on the like top of like Destiny subreddit, so yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Sorry.
DGGers. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Wait, why
Yeah,
were you
sorry,
on the
I
top?
was
What
doing
happened?
I don't know if you want to ask that question.
Never
Right.
mind. Sorry, if you don't want to talk about it.
No, it's, people find breakups interesting. I don't know.
Ah,
Whatever.
Wait, who's breaking up?
Oh no,
Oh.
here we go.
Nightwolf.
Oh no,
it's all good. I
no,
just
just
had
like
Stop.
Dylan and I broke up.
all
Oh,
right.
I'm so sorry.
Oh.
I didn't realize.
That's cool.
Okay.
Are you wearing kitty
Okay.
ears as well?
Yeah, I mean, because I have the word cat in the name.
They're so cute. Oh my god, I love that. That's
My-
cute.
Yeah, a follower sent it to me, so I just wear it every stream now.
My chat knows I'm doing a Catboy stream if I get to 690 followers, but they won't. They must not want it very hard because they're not telling their friends and their uncles.
They're
About me.
unfollowing. Yeah.
They're trying actively to prevent the
Yeah.
Catboy
Yeah.
stream.
I know, right?
Don't follow him. He's a cool guy,
Are you
but we
gonna-
can't.
Are you gonna so you're wearing cat ears? Are you gonna wear like a skirt and like fishnets or like
I do-
what
I-
what degree of Catboy?
I want to get like a maid dress. You know, we're going full Catboy, full maid Catboy.
Oh,
I think I'll rock it.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I did a fem stream when I was 300
We're
followers.
doing
and
one later.
I think I rocked it pretty hard.
And you were like comfortable, like you felt like it was fun.
It was all right. I mean, it's effort more than anything. Like lots goes into makeup, and I needed my girlfriend to help me. But
Mhm.
you know, I think I did okay. And she said I looked really good with mascara. She said that it made my eyes pop. So I tried to use that for a while, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. I got to get her to
I
help
feel
me with
like-
it again.
I
Women
feel like
love
so
saying that
many
stuff too.
men. Well, it's true. So many men have like really long, beautiful, really lush eyelashes naturally. So then when we put I know. See, I see your reaction. It's not fair. It's really fucked up. I am jealous. I am coping and seething. So yeah. So when we put mascara on you guys, it's just like, oh my god, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
I thought it was a good look.
I get so mad. Like, I was sitting next to my brother, and I'm like, why do you have those? Like, is there a reason? Like, is there a utility? And
You're
he's-
literally not using them the way they're supposed to be used, right? Like, give them to me. I will use
What do you mean?
them
Wait,
properly.
wait. We are using them the way that they're supposed to be used. They make you
This is-
upset.
Yeah,
this is the
that's the only
discourse.
reason.
Damn.
I'm doing a
So,
little
listen,
bit of
boys.
toxic femininity
Yeah,
immediately in the
exactly.
panel.
So now we're
They
going
get-
for it.
They're
thought this was a
upset
men's
with
rights
how
panel.
little
I'm leaving.
it takes to make us happy. So little it takes to make us happy, and they cope. And they cope.
Yep.
They'll be like, I can't believe you have a bed frame. I'm poor. All right. Like your TV will be sitting on a box that you moved into the apartment with for the last 2 years. What's in the box? Only God knows now. Okay. They
Okay,
Every
this
single
is
time they
ridiculous
talk about
bullshit. No woman ever has been like, "Oh no, he has a bed frame. We're all
he
going,
doesn't have a bed
please
frame."
God,
Yeah.
get a bed frame."
My
Why?
gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
I've gotten
Why-
puggoed for the
Okay,
lack
why
of bed
is mattress
frame
on the
sometimes.
floor? Why is mattress on the floor? Why is mattress on the floor? Do you like dust? Is that
you
like
ever
favorite
gone-
pastime? Do you just
Girl, you ever gone to fuck a 27-year-old man and been like, "Why is your mattress on the floor? What the fuck is
because
wrong
the
with
second
you?"
the second I walk in and I
You
would
live
be
like
on the
this?
floor, I'd
You
say I'm gonna go
leave,
home.
right?
I would leave.
God.
I feel
Okay,
like there's
what if he has a-
very little
What if he
give.
has a bed frame, but instead of a bed, there's a nest? How would you feel about that?
Nest.
Wait, okay. Well, hold on. When you say instead of a bed, you mean like there's like a box spring and then like a pile of clothes, and he gets in and kind of skitters around like a dog and like pushes things around and settles into the nest? Is that
Yeah,
what we're
but it's all
talking about?
clean clothes though. It all smells like Tide.
I'm fine with this.
Also,
Okay.
like Tide specifically.
Well, wait,
That's
hold
a
on.
By Tide.
It depends on the
That's
amount of
like-
back support that you need, I think.
What do you mean? How much back support? What are you talking about, lady?
Hey, listen, you. I did aerial
Put on leaning up
acrobatics
against the wall.
for years, okay? I have a bad back and I got bad knees. I'm a 45-year-old in a 27-year-old's body and I need back support. Thank you.
Yeah, I can relate.
What are you
On top of
talking
the
about?
hairline,
though?
so-
Like, wait, do you lay your back to the like the headboard sometimes?
Yes, that's why it's
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's why you
Oh.
get a nice cushiony one, and then when you lean up against it, you're like, I'm on a moon and a cloud at the same time. Right
Oh
now. Like,
no! When I need to sit up, I just sit in my computer chair and then do work because I actually like to do work instead of you, unlike you.
Yeah, I used to do that when I lived at my parents' house,
True.
sit against a bed frame. But now I use my bed for two things. One of which I will. Well, you know what? I say it all the time anyway.
We're still off track.
Reading is what I meant, of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
I use my
sleeping
bed as
and
a
reading the
dining
Bible.
room.
Yeah, reading the Bible.
Sleeping and reading the Bible.
Thank you.
To me.
Amen. The only
love
the only
Leviticus.
time
We love
I the only
Leviticus,
time
yeah.
I tell girls to get on their knees is to praise the Lord Jesus Christ.
I just sit down and listen, Alec.
Well,
I'm telling women what to do. Yikes!
Yeah, come
In
on.
this
man.
in this
Talk
feminist
about that.
economy, yikes!
true.
That's a death sentence.
All right.
Let's unpack that.
Now that we're handling the
So true.
OG Prodigy came in here. Thank you. Who's always a boss. If you guys
Straight up.
don't know, and it was like, do you need me to just start banning all of them? I'm like, yes, thank you. But
Wait, so somebody messaged me and they popped into my chat and they were like, respectfully, it wasn't malicious at all and had nothing to do with Cat. Someone linked Destiny the stream before he even knew Cat was on it. It's not a hate raid. Please tell them. So I only half paid attention to what's happening, but people are commenting things like this in my chat. So just
Okay,
for what it's worth.
okay.
Yeah.
that's nice of
Okay.
I
them.
mean, if they're spamming, I thought it's a hate raid, but whatever.
Yeah, I
It's
mean they
not-
were spamming
I was
dicks.
like-
Yeah.
So
They were
That was
spamming
one.
dicks?
That was
That's-
one
that's a
dick,
hate
though,
raid.
right?
That's a
once,
dick
but
raid.
they were just
Yeah.
coming in crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
They were coming in at
It's a love raid.
a degree that I could not keep up with the follows.
Oh,
Like,
do you
I
mean the
did
dicks
not-
emote?
Like a flood
Like-
of dicks?
No, it was like the
No.
what's it?
what's it called when it's a whole bunch of letters and numbers like forming
Oh.
it?
Oh, you mean like the
Oh.
8 = D?
Yeah.
No. Like it
no,
was
like the whole,
giant.
like,
It was like
art.
one of those.
It's actually
a
beautiful.
massive
Oh, the
dick.
text art.
Yeah.
Oh, the text
Yeah,
art.
Yeah.
it's art.
Okay.
Yes, I'm glad we're acknowledging it's art. Okay.
Does it really matter how
Someone-
big it
yes.
is? Come on, guys.
Someone put time and effort into that. one
Yes,
day.
it does.
We can get into
Don't
that.
let anyone tell you otherwise.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Prodigy.
I have come here to bring all the toxicity to this panel. Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Beautiful.
I'm ready to go.
Actually, now let's.
This is
that's
why-
beautiful.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
my god. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing the most exciting thing I've ever seen in my life, and it's just saying Pasota bot ban wave, and it's
Nice.
just.
That's
Thank
satisfying.
you, Prodigy. That is satisfying. Oh my
Nice
god, I'm
cock.
actually kind of turned on by this.
Nice. Oh
Anyway.
my god, we're on. You know why there's so many people? Because Destiny has your tab open on his stream. Looks like.
Oh my god, of course
Yeah.
he does.
There you go.
Anyways,
Ooh,
I am in the big leagues now. Okay.
you sure are. I guess that puts all of us up there.
Yeah.
Say,
All right.
say his name 3 times. he might
I had a
pop
run with
in.
Destiny a while back.
You know
He banned my
Destiny?
original, or banned. He blocked my original
banned?
account. So, I get around.
But let's thanks, Alec. Let's
I
just
get
jump
around.
into it though.
Get into it.
So starting off, like, for Katarana and Merrick, whoever wants to go first on this, but just like talking about misogyny, like what's the most common form of just like seeing it every day? Like, because I feel like a lot of men, like, just kind of like racism, people are just like, this thing has to be like this. Somebody has to say the N-word and then it's racist. Maybe. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, I feel like that might be the same case with, I'm sure it is, with actually how misogyny is on the day-to-day level.
Well, do you want to take this first, Kat, or should I?
I'll let you start off, and then
Sure. So I think that this is a pretty commonly held belief that if we are not literally like get back in the kitchen posting, that there's not actually any sort of misogyny happening, which is not really how this works. So I really like that this is the topic that you chose to bring up and to pick, because I think that like interactions that are invisible to outside people, or interactions that when you actually are like, hey, you're kind of being a dickhead right now, and other people are like, oh, you're such a triggered feminist, you're being so sensitive, like, I talk to other people this way. Like, there's a lot of that happens, and I don't often see people acknowledge that this is a reality. So I really appreciate that this is the topic that you wanted to lead with. So I think that for me, it's going to look different than it does for Katarana. And I think that we all here understand like the concept of intersectionality. So like Katarana is going to get like misogynoir, whereas I am not going to experience the racist undertones or the racist elements that come with that. So I can't really speak to that. What I can speak to is that I am very overtly, very vocally a sex worker. And I think I'm also like, not only am I a sex worker, but I'm a sex worker that has decided that I will be in politics. So it's this sort of colliding of a very contentious, it's a very contentious intersection, I think, especially because a lot of leftists are actually extraordinarily sex negative. A lot of leftists have views on sex and sex work that I would actually consider closer to second wave feminists. So the way that I experience a lot of misogyny is people assuming right off the bat, because of my job, that I am actually a moron who can't form a logical thought. So I get a lot of people immediately talking down to me in a much more overt way than they would to a lot of other women. I think that a lot of what I experience is people think that if you are a sex worker, that you do it either because you are a desperate victim or because you are actually too stupid to hold any other sort of employment. So this is something that I get a lot of people talking to me like I'm a child, talking to me like I don't actually deserve any sort of basic respect. I think that that's like more the most common. Just people really feeling like they can speak to me as though I am like 18 or 19 when I'm like almost 30. So I get a lot of men also trying to tell me, sometimes I get men trying to tell me about sex work, which I think is interesting. So it manifests in that way as well. And I think that I do occasionally, can I say, I don't want to say slurs, because I think that like terms that are whorephobic are not like, yeah, but so I get a lot of very overt, like, you are a blank. I get a lot of that. I get a lot of people telling me that that no one loves me, my family hates me, I must have been molested by a relative, that I don't have any self-respect, that like yesterday I was I get a lot of when I'm disagreeing with people on political stuff, people will go, oh, well, it actually doesn't matter what you have to say because you're a blank, and when you die, no one will care because no one actually loves you and you have no value. So I get a lot of that on the day-to-day, but I think that more often it's just the people assuming that I'm a fucking idiot. Sorry, was that kind of heavy?
No, I just didn't know how to say and now Katarana. Like, I didn't know how to like segue out.
No,
No,
fair.
I mean, I've definitely seen that a lot, just like in response to you a lot too. So,
Yeah.
but let me not take up the space, Katarana.
Yeah, you're good. For me, a lot of it comes with like there's a certain amount of dubiousness about like what I'm in school for. Like some people think I'm lying. Like a lot of people like I've been on like panels where we talk about something space related, and then I'll talk about like aerodynamics, and people think I'm just like lying, like because like there's no way that like you have any experience with the stuff that you're talking about. I've gotten a lot of things can end up being kind of intersectional because I sometimes can't tell on what basis is it that people are discrediting me. So like if I go inside of like some type of science-based conference and people will ask me like, am I lost? And I'm not sure if they think I'm lost because I'm black, or do they think I'm lost because I'm a woman, or do they think I'm lost because I'm both? I guess for me, I also get a little bit, at least right now while I'm like here, I get like comments based off of like my exoticism, which is really weird. So people will say like, yeah, like you're considered hot here because you're very exotic, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, a lot of it is really generally based around intelligence as well. Yeah, I've like several times have been in a car like with an Uber driver, like just talking, and I say I'm in physics, and they're like, "You're a girl," and I'm like, "Wow, okay." On the bright side, I get free Ubers. I ain't mad. But yeah, still, a lot of it is just really like intelligence based for me. I think most recently I've had like an issue where I'm looking for an apartment here, and I put explicitly in my like wants that I want like roommates to mostly just leave me alone if I need to have roommates, and like nonetheless people have still like messaged me and like been like, hey, what's up, girl? And then I posted like in the comments of the thing, like, why are people sending me these messages? And like some like guys have been like, you should talk a lot like better, like as a lady, the way that you're typing is very unladylike. And I'm like, so a lot of people do try to police like my language quite often, because people like often consider me to be like very foul-mouthed and things like that. Like for some reason people have a lot of an issue with like, I guess, the amount of cursing I'll do, considering the fact that like I bleed once a month. I don't know why, but yeah.
They use any all pronouns, and a friend of mine, they said that there's certainly an aspect of people assuming more femme-presenting people are stupid, and I think there's also a lot of intersection with people thinking sex workers are stupid. Like Merrick mentioned, I think that combination probably exacerbates for her specifically, but of course that doesn't mean any of those things are true. Yeah, no, like I've seen that a lot, like especially with sex work as well. I think I see a lot more visible to me on the regular, especially like online, just because of like swerfs too, that internalized misogyny as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the idea that like even someone honestly came right in here just before right before all the others did, and so I banned them before they all came in, but they said, you post on OnlyFans, that isn't sex work. Like already gatekeeping even what you do. Like
I I mean,
So-
it's
can't win.
particularly funny because I've been in the industry for 10 years. I was a stripper who traveled across the country for 6 years. I did full service for a few years. I'm still potentially dabbling in full service a little bit here and there. I do porn. Porn is sex work. A lot of people, when you say sex worker, they think that you are a full service sex worker that walks a track on the street in a bad part of town and has a pimp, because people don't know what sex work means. And like, this is another thing of like people trying to tell me what my industry is, what parts of it, when they don't actually have the faintest clue of what they're talking about because they've never looked into it, and they have some weird impression of what they heard growing up or received via osmosis from the culture around them, and they feel confident enough that they actually must know better than me, someone who not only has done this for a decade but has actually done like extensive reading and like research into my own field as well as the history of my own field. So yeah, there's a lot of that.
You're telling me that sex work isn't just like the girls that I pick up in GTA?
No,
It is not just the girls you pick up in GTA. It's true.
No. It's
Oh,
not
what
just
the heck?
them. It's the strippers in GTA as well.
You're right.
Actually, now that
It
we're
is-
kind of on that, actually, Shark, and you can keep going with that, but like, because honestly, I think, especially being like starting younger, like when did you recognize anything as misogyny or just like regular? Like, I feel like that's a big part of growing up as someone, or like assigned male at birth, is that like these things aren't misogynistic, that's just how things are, is kind of often like how it's viewed. Like, right, women are supposed to be married and providers and cooking and whatever. And we play games like GTA as much as they're fun. I'm not saying that promotes all of it, but I don't know, just to
Well, I mean, it's interesting to like Kat and Merrick's point. It's actually super interesting. I looked into this not too long ago. There's a little thing where they made a new little AI chat bot that you can like talk to and whatever. And there was like a whole Reddit dedicated to how bad you can treat the chat bot and see if you can get the chat bot to like kill themselves or something, or right. And obviously the whole thing was pitched as like, whoa, your new AI online girlfriend type thing. And so people like were getting like really connected, and it was really interesting because they did like a little bit of looking into how they treated these bots, and the people who specifically saw the bots like as women treated them worse, right? And it's really interesting because the development of Siri and Alexa showed that as well. Because when Siri and Alexa came out, when you ask them like stupid questions, they'd respond with the sort of like customer service, really passive answers. And with those really passive answers, people felt more and more like confident to be shittier and shittier to them. They wanted to treat them like worse and worse and worse, right? And so like on that Reddit as well, once they would do like typical sort of relationship abusive relationship like techniques. They would like gaslight the bots, and they would like actual gaslighting, not internet politics gaslighting, like actual gaslighting the bots, like actual abusing them, telling them that they're worthless, like the hot and cold, like not respond and then like respond super quick. Like they went the whole 9 yards. I think they like looked up some research to look up abusive tendencies just to do it to the bots, right? And so even like Apple and Amazon had to change up the bots algorithm a little bit to make them respond more like forcibly and respond more assertively when you said things like, Siri, suck my dick, instead of her being like, I'm not that type of service bot. Or she would say, she used to say that, right? And now she just says no. Because I mean, people do this a lot. It's the same that people feel on the other side. People do feel like more like comfortable around women too. They feel like more passive when you have when they want to go like speak to some suspects or something. A lot of the times they'll send in women. When you need to like give bad news to like a family or like a patient or something at a hospital, they'll send in women too. They'll be like the universal sort of bomb diffuser. thing there, because people just feel more comfortable just be like with women. I mean, this even happens with like a checkups as well. People feel more comfortable getting like a checkup for their like kid for like sports or something by like a woman and not a guy, even though a guy would be like perfectly fine and capable of doing it. So yeah, and like I don't know, the youngest. I mean, I don't really necessarily remember when I was like, oh my gosh, that's misogyny. I kind of just like grew up and like, okay, yeah, you know, that's probably like less cool type thing. I mean, I grew up with the same sort of like 14-year-old like edgy comedy. Grew up on the internet a bit. Those sort of jokes were just kind of. They were just in there, dead baby jokes, rape jokes, everything, right? Just as I grew up, they just became less funny. I grew up in more of like a traditional household, in the sense that I am Christian. My parents are Christian and everything. And they have the whole structure as like father's like the head of the house, and my mom is like concretely under there, under him in that space. But they both like work together. Like my mom isn't like subservient to my dad, right? My mom like handles like most of the finances and handles most of the shopping and handles most of the food, right? That sort of stuff. And they like work together, and I've never like felt like my dad's the one that just like runs the show. It's the sort of like thing where they work together. They have like but there's like a concrete sort of like direction there. My dad always asks and treats my mom with like great respect, and I think that's more biblically accurate for a family structure than like the mad tyrant dad and the scared timid mom sort of dynamic there, right? And so I've always grown up in a place where treating women is of due importance. I didn't grow up like Ricky, you know. My daddy said treat young girls like your mother, but he did say treat them well.
Thank you, Shark. I was also just going to ask Alec and Sens as well, like, with, again, kind of going off of that, like, is there anything that you ever, like, recognized earlier on, or, like, because I feel, again, like, most men in general aren't getting that type of information, like, early on. That misogyny itself is, like, a thing, for that matter.
For me, I grew up conservative. Both of my parents were very conservative Catholics, and we you know, I grew up in Ohio, so like it's kind of a mix in the Cincinnati area. So you know, I grew up conservative personally, but I was around some other liberal people, and like I guess I never personally saw it, or at least I didn't recognize it, because like I'm going about my life as a kid, and like it's, you know, it's just not something that I think about. Like, and I always had, when I was a kid, like I wanted to grow up and be this big, strong, manly dude. So like it never really bothered me in that sense. I don't know if I'm making sense so far, but I'm trying to think of like the first time I would have recognized it, I guess would have been, I don't remember any specific instances, but if I had to guess, it'd be like in middle school, because that's like when puberty's taking place and guys are starting to be more jerks to not just each other, but like also to women. And you know what, like in first, second, third grade, it's like, oh, you know, girls have cooties, whatever. And then girls would do the same thing to boys. And it's like, you know, that's, we could get into the nitty gritty of that. But to me, that's more innocent than anything. It is like, I think there is a sense of we instill that in them a little bit, but once you get to like puberty years, then it starts to become a little bit more malicious, where it's not just the cooties now. Guys are like actively treating girls like they're lesser, like they're not as smart. They'll talk over them, they'll tease them more, etc. So I think that's where I like, if I had to like have noticed it at some point, I think that's where it would have been. But it's hard to say because I really didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I think
that's kind of my point, though, too. Is
yeah,
that,
exactly.
Like, how much was actually even paid attention to?
Exactly. For recognizing it for what it was. Another thing is I went to an all-boys high school, so like that made it even harder. Yeah, so like I didn't have like girl peers at all. There were just not girls around besides my sisters. So that was an interesting experience. Then I got to college and I saw girls walking around with backpacks that were my age, and I'm like, what planet am I on right now? This is weird, because I just gone like 4 years, like a quarter of my life without seeing girls, like hardly at all. So I don't know that I was paying attention much in college. Man, I don't know.
All good.
It's
We
difficult.
can move
I
on to
mean,
another
it's just
topic
not something
soon.
that I really recognized or paid attention to much. I wish I had a better answer.
No, I mean, I think that's kind of what I'm getting at just in
Yeah.
general, is I feel like I never thought about it. Awesome. Hold on, Kat. I don't know if I have enough. Okay, I do. Cool.
But
do.
obviously,
Cool, thank you.
I should say that I recognize it now.
Yeah.
I could get more into that, like because I'm a nurse, right? And that's typically considered like a woman's job traditionally. So I could get
Thank
into
you,
that a
Fat.
little bit. You know, like
Yeah.
what Shark was saying, you know, there are advantages to being a woman when you're in the healthcare field or when you're in an investigation or anything like that. But there are disadvantages as well. Another one of the advantages though is I remember when I was in the hospital and during a clinical, there was a woman that did not want any men near her, no men near her, you know. And of course the doctor had to go in, but since I was just like a nursing student, I was literally standing outside of the door just talking. And the nurses came up to me and they were like, can you scoot away from the door, please? The patient in there is actually triggered by men. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. And of course I wasn't fighting it or anything. I was just like, okay, well, that's interesting. So, you know, I don't know if I would call that bad. It was kind of eye-opening, I guess, where it's like, oh, that wouldn't have happened if I had been a woman, huh? But like the other hand would be, I worked with nurses' aides a lot in the nursing homes, and most of them were women. I think I had like a couple of guys, and there was such a huge difference between how they treated even the woman nurses, but especially the aides, versus me. Like, I was the guy in charge, regardless of whether I was actually the guy in charge. You know, like there was an aide who was trying to clean this guy up one time, and he was like, "Get out of my room! Get the fuck out of my room!" Right? And he was like a little bit out of his mind. I don't blame him entirely, but like, she comes up to me and she's like, "He doesn't want to get cleaned up. You know, he's got to get cleaned up." And I was like, "Okay, well, let me go with you." And we walk over together, and I'm like, "Just wait out here." And I walk in and I'm like, "Hey man, what's going on?" He's like super calm. He's like, "Oh, you know, just whatever." And I'm like, "Well, do you want to get cleaned up? I got the aide here with me." And he's like, "Yeah, I guess," you know, like I don't know. It's my presence, I guess, is different from that of a woman's. It's I guess it feels like I get a lot more respect, you know? Like I have to be the one to step in even if I'm like not the one in charge. And it's interesting how that works.
It could be because you're tall too. That happens too. How
Yeah,
people
I'm
just look at
6'1".
people who are- Yeah.
Yeah.
How people like that. That sometimes in those sort of situations, you unironically stand out. So people just kind of look for those types of people to be like, yeah, you're tall, do something, right? And like that's
Yeah.
unironically how some people in like a group mentality sometimes that's how you're looked at. So it could be like two things there.
I usually love it, but you know, that is true.
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of relate to that somewhat. I mean, I went to college much like Katarana, like with for physics, so I went into a physics degree kind of thing. And I don't think I'm like not smart, but I also am definitely not the smartest by far in our classes and stuff and in lab groups. Couple of my friends, two of them are like femme presenting, and one of them is like a genius and stuff, and we were always in lab groups together. And I would not know what the fuck was going on because I'm an idiot, and I was like just trying to figure shit out. And like half the time we had labs, people would go to like our other lab members would like go to me, and I was like, I have no idea what's happening. Like she obviously knows way more. Why are you going to me instead? So there's a lot of that internalized shit I think a lot of people have. I didn't really realize that until being in college and that seeing that kind of thing. Just like especially in like something like STEM. STEM is skews super, you know, a lot more men in STEM than are women, and yeah, a lot of just like internalized sex. Like a lot of people that are sexist in STEM don't really. I don't think they recognize it a lot of times. A lot of times they just don't exposure to women too, because a lot of them are like, you know, what you'd expect to be a physics major or a CS major or anything like that. So like yeah, so that kind of was not a. Was kind of that's probably the reason I don't actually work in STEM too. I didn't want to go into physics right after doing school for it because I was like so annoyed with a lot of people in it, and went into politics instead. And also, yeah, just misogyny. Not a fan. Some might say that's
not a huge fan.
Take, but not a huge fan of misogyny.
American, I saw you raising your
Cringe.
hand.
Misogyny's cringe.
You're muted, Merrick.
Post-streamer
You can
moment.
do it. She can do it. I
Why you
believe.
have
I'm
those
like-
almost partner numbers.
I love this. I'm like, people think I'm dumb because I'm a sex worker. People are like, no, we think you're dumb because you can't stream properly, beside it being your actual job. So I think that there's like a couple of interesting things that were brought up. The first is that you, Alec, feel like you are greeted with an air of more authority when you're interacting with people, and we do know that this is true, is that like while women are seen as more comforting, men are typically seen as more authoritative. So like I think it's a lot easier, we find in the studies that we do, to get people to actually like listen to and behave with men in situations like this. So I do think that like it might be your imposing stature, but I don't think that you're wrong that it has to do with your gender either. The other thing is you bringing up STEM, which I think is also interesting, because there's a lot of discussion about how women aren't encouraged to go into STEM. And I don't know that that's always true. There have been cultural pushes in the last few years in several places to get women into the STEM field. And so we have seen that. But I think another thing to note is that for a very long time, we actually taught as fact that women had poor spatial reasoning than men, that women were actually worse at comprehending subjects like the hard sciences and math and things like this. This was actually passed off as scientific fact. There is a Marxist professor named Richard Lewontin. Is anyone on this panel familiar with him?
No.
So
Well,
Richard Lewontin is a man who very, very widely celebrated in his field. He was really foundational for both population genetics and evolutionary biology. And he has a series that I believe he did he wrote a book and did a series of lectures in the early 90s called Biology as Ideology. And he talks about how in academia, actually, and, you know, yes, in the STEM fields, but overall, generally in academia, that there have always been people who use their previously held positions of authority in academia to justify shifting social paradigms, right? So like the thing with women not having brains that are able to handle things like math, things like spatial reasoning, things like logical reasoning has been like a really, really longly held myth that a lot of men who were in the STEM fields wrote papers about and passed off as fact for quite some time when women were beginning to enter into colleges and universities in the STEM field. So I don't think it's like when you're like, yeah, this is something that I observed. Like, yeah, we know that people can observe it. And, you know, I think standpoint theory is really important. But we also have like countless we also have countless examples of actual papers being written about this sort of thing, which we now know to be not true, because if you follow or know anything about the deconstruction of biological essentialism along the lines of race and genetics, you'll also be able to see that the same thing happens with biological essentialism with gender and genetics, and that this is not actually how our genes work, and this is not actually how they end up expressing themselves in our brains along, you know, things like gender and race.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was really long.
No, good. Yeah, I
was
was
really
just
good.
thinking about like the example of, at least in my department, I had a teacher that had just basically said like, "Oh, I'm old. I can't hear frequencies that are too high anymore. So, women, can you just ask a guy next to you to repeat what you said because I can't hear your voice?" Which isn't a very good way to start off, like considering this is like a first year class. Perhaps it wasn't like intentionally misogynistic, but there is something very weird about being in a classroom where basically somebody comes up front and says, if you have a high-pitched voice, I'm not hearing it. Don't even try speaking to me. If you need to come to my office hours, please bring somebody that I can actually hear properly. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's just
He
like
said, "Bring a translator."
yeah, essentially, like, yeah, can you please bring
Sorry,
a male
I don't speak
translator?
woman. It's like it's like a dog whistle to me, like a literal dog whistle.
Well, he said that if you don't have if you have a high pitched voice, he won't be able to hear you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like essentially, like even my voice is considered too high. So
wow.
basically, bring a baritone or don't talk to me at all type
Look,
of thing.
I'm sorry. If that's the case, that teacher like either needs some kind of like hearing assistance device or they need to get a new teacher.
Have you ever heard of tenure?
Yeah,
If
you have like a
you-
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
with separate.
yeah,
Yeah, tenure is crazy.
yeah. But overall, once again, I guess, yeah, the whole thing with intersectionality really like happens to come in more for me. But like, my experience in the STEM field has been like, I don't know, quite, I don't know, tragic, I suppose. Most of the time, like sometimes it could be fine, at least when I'm interacting with like people more on an extracurricular type of way. But like I think the only reason why I was able to finish up university was because everything was online for the last year because I just could not keep on going. Like I graduated with like 2 restraining orders like against my classmates because like I just could not be in the same space with people. Like a lot of times, like even right now when like I'm supposed to be visiting my friends, someone's like, "Hey, can you meet me back at school?" And I was like, I refuse to go back to the site of trauma. Like I want nothing. I can't even look at my university anymore. Just because of like so many different types of like sexual harassment, sexual assault, microaggression, just it's so much. Like it makes me uncomfortable to even like go there. And it's really strange because some of the people that I've interacted with that I've had really severe issues with, since I was the only like black non-man in my entire department, other like non-men, I'd speak to them about like the particular person. They're like, "Oh, that guy, oh, I love that guy," and I'm like, huh? And I suppose a lot of it just came a lot from the fact that like I was so very easily able to be like targeted as the only non-white, non-man person in the classroom that like, yeah, I had experiences with people that people were like, "Oh gosh, he's so great. Like, oh, I love playing kickball with Kevin." And I'm like, "Kevin's a rapist." Like, so yeah.
Yeah. Especially at small schools, that's always a huge, it's weird. And like, also the way that guys handle a lot of times, just like kind of writing it off, like, well, yeah, he's like a quirky guy, or he's a nice guy. Like, I haven't had any bad, like, kind of just ignore it, right? They're just like, oh, well, he's been nice to me, kind of thing. It's like that's not the fucking point, you know.
He never raped me. I don't understand what your issue
I don't get
is.
why
Look,
you're mad.
he held a whole ass door for me. What do you want from him?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we peed in the same urinal once. What do you
Yeah.
want me to do?
We cross streams and
Holding
everything.
each other. Yeah.
We crossed.
Merrick,
We can't
you-
undo that bond.
Merrick, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I guess I like that you mentioned that, Katarana, because I've had really similar experiences, though most of mine are online because, you know, I'm not going to a university. But there's been a lot of like, oh my god, this person is so cool. Like, I love them. They're so funny. Like, they're so great. And I'm like, man, they made a post saying that I've had 37 plastic surgeries and I look like a piece of cauliflower. So that's great that you like them, but like, damn. Like, there's been so much that I've experienced online where it's like, oh my god, this person is so cool. But I don't know why they've made like 10 deranged hate posts about you, and it's been like a struggle to get people to understand that like they might be like really quirky and have great like dunks and great chemistry with you, and they might be really cool to a lot of other leftists, but if they saw a fake screenshot about me that a bunch of people are like, hey, that's a fake screenshot, and then they continue to go on and be like, look at this fucking plastic bitch, like they say crazy shit like that, they're not actually a good person. And I think it's like been a really uphill battle trying to get people to understand that like if they're saying these horrible like misogynistic like hateful things about me as an acceptable target, like a socially acceptable target, that's who they are as a person. Because like even people that I don't like, I don't attack them for like things they can't change, right? I attack them for their ideas. So it's been like trying to like fucking shake people and be like, I don't care how epically anti-capitalist they are. Like you're actively not seeing the things you don't want to see. And so like I understand that frustration as well. I never have gone to college, but I've definitely experienced that in like social groups. So I just appreciate you bringing that up.
I'm generally like really frustrated, I suppose, when people like give that as a retort of like, oh, but they're cool with me. Like I had a friend of mine send me like a Sam Harris clip like about him saying like Joe Rogan's not a racist, like he's never done anything racist in his life. So I'm like, wow, I'm so proud of you, person that is not experiencing the thing. I'm so happy that you haven't seen them do a racism, like they haven't kicked any black people down the flight of stairs in your presence. Wow, that must mean that they're really cool. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, I'm sorry, like, are you in my shoes? Like, I don't care what your experience is. Same thing, like, happens all the time for some reason for people in power. Everyone comes out and says like, oh, like, I don't know, I went on Ellen and I never saw Ellen yell at her like staff. As like, yeah, cool. Like, I'm so happy that were you there 365 days a year? Like, are you talking to me once again?
Yeah, honestly, it just, and I think this is going to be a fact of our lives for the time being, is that it's just going to take a lot for people when they like someone to I don't know, cancel them or whatever. Yeah, to say that they're bad. It like once you build up enough like goodwill, you can start to chip away at that. It's kind of like it is kind of like a little reservoir. You have your little cancel reservoir where okay, you can harass this many children online if you write this many good songs. It's kind of like it's kind of like what Kanye was doing, honestly, with Kim and Schmeat Davidson. It's like what he was doing is genuine, actual deranged harassment, and he like threatened to find and hurt somebody recently, and that didn't even get him like banned. And he still has this like raving, quivering mass of gelatinous fans who will say that he's like super cool no matter what, and like she showed her butt on the internet twice and she's been divorced before, so something's not adding up. So and when he like blatantly lies that he wasn't able to see his kids when 3 hours after he dropped them off at school, I mean, it always starts with just like some haha, oh, he's so weird, he's so quirky, whoa, look, he posted this like unhinged, like at the time funny post about like the Avengers, and now we know that this is some like unhinged mental breakdown, right? Like, oh, it's so funny until somebody ends up like dead or hurt or something, and then we're like, oh wait, no, this wasn't fun at all, I guess, for the people who are actually there. It just, especially when a lot of guys are given like in like insular groups, guys are given the benefit of the doubt when it comes to his versus her words. Sometimes if it's like a he said she said situation, it can go like some, like depending on the community, it could be like no matter what she says he's always wrong, no matter what she says she says he's always wrong, right, or something. But honestly, in like a lot of more like smaller insular communities, or when you're like a fan or you're like renowned in the space, it's kind of, you were just given the benefit of the doubt until like there's a video of you like picking her up like above your head and like just throwing her off of a parking garage or something, you know.
real. Yeah.
So Dan Bilzerian actually broke, I believe it was Janice Griffith, when he threw her off the, he threw her into his pool, and she was like saying no, like stop the entire time. He actually broke her foot in that instance, and a lot of people were like, after that happened, a lot of people were like, well, like, you know, she was just there to get clout or because he has money or like whatever, like it's not really that big of a deal. And like people who were like, hey, that's kind of actually not cool that he did that. There was a ton of pushback against that. So yeah, I mean, I think that you're right. There is absolutely this idea of like when we talk about like abuses of power and like when we talk about like power differentials, especially with like men in the spotlight, there is always a lot of like, okay, well maybe he did something bad, but she was doing this or she was doing that or she is this or this is her job or like, you know, things like that. So yeah. I mean, we see shit like this all the time, constantly.
There was a Twitter post I saw where there was a girl who was like, it was the first date. I don't remember, I'm paraphrasing, but she basically said it was the first date. Didn't go well. She said she dodged like 3 kisses, and then the guy at the end of the date, without her consent, grabbed her in a hug and picked her up off the ground, right, on the first date. And she's like, it did not go well. And she said her response was, oh, you don't have to do that, which I thought was a great response. But no, it just, like, I saw in the comments, there were so many dudes who were like, oh, what do you mean? That's normal, dude. That's normal behavior, bro. Girls love it when you do that, if you treat them right. It's like, no, it literally never hurts to ask, okay? You say, hey, can I have a hug? They say, I'm not comfortable with that right now. That's it. That's literally it. I promise you will not die from that. You will go home, wake up the next day, and if things don't work out with you and that girl, you can find somebody else who would be more than happy to hug you after the first date, if you guys are both comfortable with that. Like, it baffles me.
Honestly, the worst thing that's gonna happen is that it's gonna be slightly awkward for a second, because like you'll just be like, if she doesn't want to hug, she'd be like, yeah, okay, but like whatever, then you get the hug. Like it doesn't, yeah.
No, you just say, hey, like, hey, can I get a hug before I go? Like, and they're like. And if they don't want it, then they can, you know, you can either read that if you're paying attention, or they'll just say like, not right now. Like,
yeah,
just ask.
Go through that, you know, and, yeah.
Hold on real quick, Merrick. You were trying to make a point, I think.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of discourse online in the last few months. Like I think in our circles about the idea of like what steps to take as a man or as a mask presenting person to be cautious, I think, in interactions with women. We've seen a ton of discourse around this, and I remember at one point there was the discussion of like, if a girl invites you over to her house, is that her explicitly saying, yes, I am going to fuck you? And of course, you know, when this was discussed on streams, there was like a very nuanced, like, hey, listen, this world is not kind, this world is not nice. If you are a woman, if you are a femme-presenting person, for your safety, like probably the most practical and the best thing for you to do is not have people that you're unsure about, like, alone in your home with you. That is probably the most practical advice. So this was how it was presented on stream. However, on Twitter, there were a lot of discussions about, you know, shit tends to roll downhill. So on Twitter, there were a lot of discussions about how, like, if you were like, hey, if a girl invites you over to her house, please understand that that is not her looking you in the face and saying, we are going to have sex, and I am totally cool with that. And like, if you were saying stuff like that, people would be like, oh my god, like, you know, it's people like you that's making dating impossible, you know, that's so fucking insane that you would say that. And like, at one point, someone said to me that I was actually creating incels by having this take. So that was a little spicy. But like, we've seen a lot of, I think, pushback against the idea of you being able to be like, hey, you actually can check in with people before you just go for it, right? And I think that pushback is, I understand where it comes from, But I think you actually can be in a romantic or sexual situation with someone where you can like check in with them. You can make sure that you're not pushing boundaries, and you don't have to think of yourself as this sort of like masked, mysterious like Don Juan. Like, I'm sorry, you're not. I know that that's like the image of yourself that you have in your head and that you want to cultivate and that you think is absolutely necessary as for the art of seduction, but like, that's not really how real life works, and you actually can create like really good romance and intimacy with a female person without being like, I just have to go for it and sweep her off her feet. I just have to grab her and pull her in. If you grab me and just pull me in without asking, I'm gonna be like, get the fuck off me. Like, I'm not gonna like that, and people are gonna be like, oh well, that's because you're a sex worker and you're damaged and you have trauma. But it's like most people I saw someone just go, oh, but like this is what people will say to me. But a lot of women will express this, and this is actually a very normal thing for women to want you to have like a clear delineation of physical boundaries, especially when you don't know them very well.
Yeah, I don't understand this whole idea where people like think that everything's like When Harry Met Sally or like Hitch and everything's gonna just be like just have a fucking conversation. Like, you're not Will Smith. Like, chill out. Like, it's not. Like, I don't need all this extra like flamboyance. Like, it's okay to just sometimes ask like questions directly. Like, it's really not going to hurt anything. And the whole idea, like, I don't know, I've like been on the receiving end of like somebody that thinks that like inviting you over means something, but like I don't know, like people really need to sometimes get in the headspace of like not everybody has like the same like, you know, lived experience as you. For example, like after a date, I typically try to get home as soon as possible because I never know when my medication's gonna run out and then I'm gonna suddenly get very sleepy in public. So I usually just ask like, can we go to my house so that we can continue talking? But once I get tired, I can just go to bed. That's usually, I usually try to have dates as close as possible to my house so I can go to bed very quickly. So that would be the utility of that type of thing. Like, yeah, come over, you seem fine, but I just want to drink juice. Do you want to have juice at my house? I have a lot of juice. Like, yeah, I don't really, I just don't like any of these different types of weird, like, discourses because I think all of it's just, like, I think everybody thinks that, like, if they've seen, like, Roosh V and, like, Richard Love Rihanna, like, enough times that they all think that they're, like, a pickup artist, and it's, like, even if you are copying what they said, like, I've seen these videos, they're cringe, like, you know, what about you watch those videos and do whatever the exact opposite is? Like, if they say don't ask consent, ask a lot of consent. Please. Yeah, I there's just like so many different things where people like think that like what it means to be like really sexy is be like as like dominant as possible and like do all these different like, oh, the lady will be having steak, and like, no, like I know what I want and I can order it myself, and you know, like just all this extra shit, and it's like I have bodily autonomy. I can open my own door. I mean, like I'm not particularly picky about this, but like I can open a door. I'm not that fucking dainty. Yeah, I think a lot of different things are like rooted in like a mixture of like chivalry and misogyny, and how about we just stop doing both?
Well, I mean, I feel like we have a lot of like broken old like courting era relationship stuff that's been brought over, but we've done like a pretty decent job at like deconstructing a lot of masculinity, but we haven't like put it back together again.
Hell yeah, masculinity deconstructed.
Yeah. So we've like smashed it, and we do love smashing. Heck yeah! You're gonna take my daughter out on a date.
Yeah.
You're gonna take my blonde hair Daisy Duke and daughter out on a date. You're gonna take my beautiful blonde hair Daisy Duke and daughter out on a date that I love. I love her. Show me your penis, right?
I'll just let you know if you just check the DMs real quick. Just and you're good, Shark. You can keep going. Just because I saw so many hands up, I was just kind of giving you guys an order of how to go next.
Sure.
Keep on going.
So we've been able to like smash it, but we haven't put it back together. So I think a lot of guys still, and I think the left has done a pretty bad job as giving like a space for guys to be able to learn something right? And even on top of that, we like shit on a lot of guys for even attempting to try to learn and anything. Hey, listen, when I was going to give my first kiss to a real live woman, it was like planned in advance. Like tomorrow was going to be when it happened.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what I did? I looked up YouTube videos. All right. I looked up YouTube videos about it. That's how I figured out what I was going to do. Okay, I got the Wing Girls. I think you can even still find them. All right, and this is like here's how you give a girl a date. Here's how you give a girl a kiss. Here's how it works. We're gonna help you make sure that this isn't gonna be like super weird and awkward. You know what? It did freaking help, right? But like that whole space has been consumed and devoured by like the pickup artist. You look very portable today type dudes. And the thing is, even if you don't necessarily agree with them or anything, what happens is that we've just on the left, we've just been like, ayo, fuck these guys are cringe as hell, they're so stupid. And they're like, dude, freaking sick, man.
Yeah.
They are cringe.
Like,
now
not giving
what?
any actual advice.
Right?
Yeah, they're cringe.
Yeah, it's
but,
like, now what do I do? But
Jail.
how do
Volcano,
I
all of them.
talk to a girl?
but
Right?
yeah, how do I-
Because it's weird. Like social reaction, like social interactions are weird.
Sacrifice
all right?
them
Guys
to
are
the
weird.
woke gods.
Women are weird. All right, let me. The first date that I went, but from like one of my last relationships, my long-term relationships. Okay, the whole thing where it was like, oh, she doesn't want to like hug you or something, right? I was looking for a kiss, like after our like second date or something, and you know what she said? No, right? She just straight up said.
Damn.
Not even just no, like I can't. Not even just a no, like I physically can. And I'm like, oh, it's over. It's over, dude. I've ruined all of this, and I was like so sad. But then she like texted me back, and we kept talking. And guess what? We dated for like a year and like almost 2 years after that, right? She just couldn't because she just liked me too much, apparently. And that's when I learned that apparently someone can like you so much that they don't want to kiss you, actually.
Yeah,
which is
wow.
so weird. So weird, and you would think like if they say something like that, that means that like it's over, but it's not like a one-to-one. Like it's really difficult. It's really difficult, and it's really alluring when someone gives you like a play-by-play. I think the best thing that I remember from this is Nick Fuentes when he got bodied by Sydney Watson, and he was like, I know how women work, okay? I know how women work, and she was like, have you ever been on a date before? No, but
Next question, please.
I watched some pickup videos, and you gotta hit the same buttons. It's the same little song and dance to get girls. And the thing is, like, yeah, that's what they teach you. Is like, here's your book, all right. Here's your cheat codes to hack any woman, hack the dating world, and you can do it, bestie. It'll all work out. But like, the same inputs will not get you the same result with every girl. Absolutely not.
Outside of like a strategy or like kind of the way you approach women, like, and how that's framed, like, even if you approach it from like a better perspective, you're like, oh, these guys are cringe kind of thing. It's still so internalized a lot of times. In fact, of like, yeah, like I said, achievement hunting kind of thing. It's like if you don't get kissed on like a certain date, it's like, oh my god, it's over, it's done, I'm bodied, I'm gonna become a right-wing streamer now, like that kind of thing. Like that's
I was so close.
yeah, exactly. Shark was on the edge. He was like, this could be it, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like the way it's framed is just so toxic in that way. And also, there's no alternative really because like no one's they don't want you to know about this. You know, they're not know about it. They're just not talking. No one's talking about it from like a left perspective a lot of times.
Yep.
It's mostly just pickup artists, and then pickup artists are cringe, and then nothing in between of like actual relationship advice. It's like nuanced and talks about people like human beings.
You know, I know quite a bit about aerospace engineering. I've watched 3 YouTube videos on it, and I'm pretty sure I'm ready to build my first rocket. You know?
See, you're kidding, but like I've literally had people like come up to me. Like I knew this one guy that didn't even like finish like I think grade 10, so he didn't do geometry, and he was trying to argue with me about like dark matter, and I was like, like what?
Oh, yeah.
Like are we doing this right now? He's like, dark matter isn't real. I'm like, are you actually talking to me right now? But like that's just like the confidence that like people will come up to like women and be like, dude, I saw like a full ass podcast, so I'm ready to argue with you about this thing that like you have a master's in. Like, you ready? And I'm like, what? Like, where? Huh?
Yeah.
The hubris of lab coats thinking they know more than me after skimming through the Wikipedia article and watching a From Science video. Yikes.
I literally just saw like a whole ass Kukajart video, so I'm ready to roast your ass. Like, okay.
But unironically.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear a
So
funny story? Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna tell this earlier. Back when I was like 18, I went on a. This is embarrassing, but I went on a date from Meet.me. It was an app. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. It was this pretty girl.
I remember this.
Because we were on the topic of like girls inviting you into their houses and stuff. So we like went to the park. We got Chipotle, whatever. It was a cute little date, and we got along. And she's like, "Hey, do you want to go back to my house?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like it didn't really hit. I was just like, "Oh, well, this is unexpected." So I drove us back to her house, and she's got like this big ass house, unrelated, but it was nice. And she had us like sit down on the couch. What?
What's the address? I want to look it up. I just want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, hold on, let me grab that.
For research purposes,
We like sat in separate like love chairs, you know? Like she kind of sat across the room from me, and I sat like in one and she sat in the other. And I just kind of like pet her dog, and we like awkwardly talked a little bit more for like 10 or 15 minutes. And she was like, do you want to go? And I was like, I don't know. Like I had no clue what was going on. I didn't figure this out until like years later when I'm like looking back and I'm like, oh my God, I think she wanted to smash. I think she wanted to do stuff. I never asked. It never even occurred to me. But like more to the point, to keep it relevant to the panel, like guys aren't really taught how to like properly communicate with women. Like they're not really taught that women are like people. They're more like objects to be wooed in. But like, you know, on the other side of that, it's like again, I went to an all boys high school, so like I had no clue what I was doing, you know, and I was never taught by anybody. So when that happened, I just was kind of, you know, looking at her like a deer in the headlights. And it was kind of the same situation with my college girlfriend, where like the first night that I ever kissed a girl, which she said I was terrible, so that's cool. I also lost my virginity, so that was interesting. Like, and it was horrible. We did a horrible job. So
80%, dude.
I learned by being tossed to the sharks. It was very not fun at all. But that's how I pretty much learned everything in my life. So, you know.
That happened to me too.
Yeah.
Can I speak to this for a second?
well,
Whenever you're done, Shark.
Oh sure. So, oh yeah. So like, I mean that's happened to me too. The sort of like, oh, you want to come back to my place? And I'm like, cool.
Well, we're gonna play Smash Bros.
Well, no, I mean, I kind of felt like I had an idea where it was going,
Right.
but I don't
you're
know.
not sure.
She was, yeah, it was the type of thing where she was like the type she made moves, right? Like she was the one who like messaged me first on Tinder, and she was the one to invite me to her house. I'm like, all right, if you got a handle on it, then go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, my dick's just like right here, so I just kind of chilled. All right.
Yeah,
just
but
kind of chilled. Right. And so we were there, and there was that kind of thing where she was sitting on her bed, and there was like a chair in the room, and so I sat like about as far as possible from her, just like in the chair, and we were just like talking. I was just doing my thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just doing my thing. I didn't know what like move to make. I was it's a stressful situation. It's a really stressful situation.
And we're
to be
never
in.
taught to communicate. Never.
Or well, the thing is, I did communicate there, right?
Oh.
I did actually, right? There was like a little like downtime in the and I'm gonna put a little addendum on this, okay? Because I kind of blacked it out. I think this part's like a little cringe, right? She thought it was very respectful, but I do think it's a little cringe, so I did black it out. So I'm gonna make a little. I'm gonna give you the abridged version where I basically asked, "Do you want to have sex?" Right? she was like, you know, I just got out of a relationship. No, but thank you for asking. And I'm like, you know what? Women love a respectful king. That was something.
And then
I felt confident that I did something there. But yeah, I know exactly how you feel with you're sitting there and you don't know what move to make, and you feel like, and I was like, I bet every guy asked to fuck her. She's hot. So what? I'll be different. I won't though, but I still want to be inside of her. What do I do, right? And so you just kind of like sit there and you like pet her dog.
We link emotionally and physically.
Yeah, I
Merrick,
feel you.
So, this is great.
emotionally and physically.
I love the acknowledgement that the pickup artist community still exists, because I think a lot of people don't know that it's like still a thing. Because I'll be tweeting and I'll be like, hey, just so you guys know, Fresh and Fit had like 8,000 viewers on their live stream last night, and their co-host got out a fake sword and made jokes about how he was going to behead one of the female guests, and people will be like,
Jesus.
what? I actually posted the clip of it online, and people are like, what? What's going on? What is this? What am I looking at? Who are these guys? And I want to be like, these are like the second largest pickup artists that exist online. How do you not know who they are, right? Because I think that like as progressives and as people who care about feminism, women's rights, rape culture, not actively going on a stream every night to like your, 700,000 person audience and being like, rape is good actually, as long as you don't announce you're doing it. Like, I think that's kind of a problem and things that we as progressives should concern ourselves with. But it does kind of seem that people are like, pickup artists, feminism, is it 2014? And you have to be like, oh my god, no, this is like still a thing that's happening, guys. Like, these are still relevant issues. So I love that that there's just this like, I love that there is this new energy for like dunking on alpha male podcast guys that we're seeing in the last couple of weeks, like especially on TikTok. That has been just like soul fuel to see. Yeah, like I'm soying every time I see it. I'm so happy. But yeah, I mean, I do think that there are a lot of guys in lefty spaces and in progressive spaces that were like, I really wanted to be inside her, but I did not want to scare her, so I said nothing. and I hear
That's
this
true.
all the time.
And I said nothing.
So I did nothing. And like, this is, when I hear this, I'm like, oh my god, you poor baby, I'm sorry. Like, I feel so bad for you. And then I'm also like, oh my god, there are so many times where I've been like, okay, he's gonna be inside me in the next 5 minutes, right? Like, we're gonna do this, it's gonna happen. And like, he's done nothing. And when I was younger, I really thought that was how it was supposed to be. And then like, as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that we always talk about, oh, men are so bad at this. Women are fucking terrible at this. We are awful. It's not just you guys. We fucking suck at this too. Like, I think that there are so many girls who don't know how to be like, you seem uncomfortable, but like, here's what I can say to make this situation better. Or like, I think a lot of girls don't know how to be like, I would like to have sex with you. Like, let's do that. I think like it's really funny too. I have always been in my relationships the person that's like, I like you. We're going to go out. Like, this is what we're gonna do. This is when we're gonna do it. I'm gonna take you home and I'm going to have sex with you later. Like, I've always been that person. And guys are like, oh, okay, cool. Like, yeah. like that's always like, I've always been that person.
He's a
but yeah.
at that point.
No, yeah.
I mean, like someone says they wanna take you to your favorite restaurant and they're gonna pay. I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But so my current relationship, I was like, okay, here's the deal. I like you. I'm going to attempt to date you. How do you feel about that? He was like, oh, what? And I was like, I want to see if we can be in a long-term relationship. So I'm going to structure our interactions in a way that lead us towards that. How do you feel about that? And he was like, that's, and I was like, is that a lot? Like, is this very forward? Is this too much? He's like, oh, well, it's not too much. That's a lot for you to say to me, but I think we'll be okay. And I was like, okay, good. But like, I think a lot of guys are not, confident in being able to do that, but I also think that the onus is not just on men to do that. I think that the onus is actually on women to also actively pursue the things they want, be that dating, be that sex. We have to encourage women to be like, it's not your role to be a passive receptor for a man's desires. It is your role to be an active agent in your own life. And I think that we have done a much better job of that in the last few years. But I feel like a lot of feminism talks out both sides of its mouth at times, where we do tell women you do have to be an active agent in your own life, but at the same time it also encourages this culture of like, haha, look at this guy being awkward, let's get 90,000 likes on this screenshot of this poor guy, and it's like, he wasn't doing anything wrong or like predatory, he was just being awkward. So I think that there needs to be this reckoning of like, you have to allow men the space to like be awkward as they try to figure out like, you have to allow women the space to be awkward in these situations too. And I don't know, I guess I just see that there is like such a double standard when it comes to dating, and that frustrates me as someone who does consider themselves to be a feminist. And I don't want to be like, oh, pick me, I'm the good feminist that doesn't hate the men, because I think there are a lot of feminists out there who are egalitarian in nature. But I think we also as women have to stop like accusing each other of being pick-me's when we talk about like equality in the dating scene, and like actually considering the feelings of men and that they have some validity when they say things like, you are terrifying and I do not understand you. I would like to be inside you. Please do not bite my head off. I also respect you.
Yeah. And go ahead, Katarana.
Okay. Yeah, I think generally the shyness, I just find it very frustrating, I suppose. I think it's obviously like a very socialized thing, because if like a woman walks up to a guy and says like, I want to do the sex, everyone's gonna be like, wow, what a fucking whore. But like, I just think it's just called agency. I typically like try my best to like make everything as apparent as possible so that men don't get confused, because I noticed like very often men are used to like, I guess, different types of messaging, so they have to guess a lot of times whether or not you like them, whereas I usually just say I like you. Now what? Or and then I suppose that. Like yeah, I also like usually try my best to like go splitsies or pay for like a date, because I recognize that like guys have to spend a lot of fucking money all the time. So I just like, I'm like, you probably have never had someone take you anywhere before. Yeah, well, I just typically like, if I have the money, like I'll pay for all the dates until I don't have it, and then I'll go splitsies usually. Yeah, but I also recognize that like, yeah, that's very atypical. And I think honestly, like the same way I say that like some guys think that like they're Will Smith and Hitch. For some reason, some people think that they're Rachel and Friends at all times. Like, he'll chase after me. I'm like, what are you like? Why are you saying one thing and meaning the other? And it's very confusing. And I think like a lot of like the things that we have within our cultural ethos like ends up encouraging people's behavior. And sometimes even if, you know, we're creating what are supposed to be progressive or liberal movies, we're still like really drilling in these types of gender norms. I was just also thinking earlier, I wonder, and this is just like open pondering, why is it quite often that like men will leave a situation and saying, man, I'm mad that I didn't actually like shoot my shot. I just can never think of like a time I've ever like been hanging out with someone that I could have slept with, but also thought about it afterwards, like, why didn't I? Because then you just do it the next time. I wonder if that's just a little bit of like conquest in nature or something. Yeah. Like, oh, I really wish I would have, you know, bagged that one. I would put that extra notch on. Like, who cares? Like, most likely you would have had really awkward sex. Like, you missed out on a one night thing. No, one night things are really that great. Like, are you really thinking out?
It's like the whole thing with like, the idea that you hit certain benchmarks at a certain time in like a relationship or in dating things. It's like, if I don't do that, I messed up. Or like that internalized thing. Even if you're like doing it respectfully, like you still have that like, I don't know. I think that's something like I definitely had like in early college where it's like, oh my god, like I didn't kiss on the like first date, like, or I didn't smash on like a certain day. It's like, I'm losing. I'm gonna lose.
I'm gonna die alone.
Yeah,
Oh my
I'm gonna
god.
die alone. Like
I think it's
I mated list, and then that was it.
I had to
Maiden-
wait an extra week. I might
L
as well
plus maiden
cut my
list.
fucking dick off. Oh no.
Yeah, but the reality is like it's not
Mhm.
like exactly what Kat said. It's like it you just sleep with him next time, or like there's other opportunities. It's not like it's the end all be all. And I think we're
With
just
that-
conditioned to learn that it's like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
With-
I think it's more that like, what if you don't get it next time, right?
Yeah.
Like, what if, or
So
it's
what?
like either you don't get it next time, or you're not sure. If you're not sure if they like you the same way, you feel like you missed out on something that you could have at least tried. You feel bad about yourself and you feel emasculated because you weren't able to take a step like a real guy is supposed to. Like there's a lot of things that go into it that isn't just like I need to be conquering this chick. I think
I
a lot
guess
of it. Oh, go
Partially
ahead.
just like who cares kind of thing. Like what if there's not a next time? Well, there'll be a next time with someone else.
Like sure, I guess, but I mean like maybe that's a maybe, right? Like if there's some if a situation came to you, and a lot of guys, I mean their next time could be like a couple years down the line. I mean for me, no matter what you think about like me or like my like interpersonal skills or whatever, I think my next time hasn't come yet. And what's it been, bud? 2.5 years. All right. So
Like
when
you-
we're talking about that, all right, like sure, there can be like a next time, but a next time can be like multiple years down the line, especially if you have stuff going for you, if you're like still living at home, if you have like a job, or you're like in flux, or you feel bad about your body so you don't even want to try and talk to anybody because you feel like it's not worth it, or you have low self-esteem. There's a lot of things in there. Like in that moment, I could have gotten something that I wanted, and I could have had even an awkward time is a good time. Like I've had like awkward first encounters, like the one that I told you guys about. That was awkward, but you know what? I'm glad that I did it, and I thought it was really fun, and I'm glad that I have that memory now. So I think a lot of it goes into that, and a lot of like demasculation and it's hard to get relationships and talk to women in the first place goes into that as well.
Right.
Merrick, go ahead, and then I'd like to take the floor for just a sec.
I think it's really interesting, Shark, that you bring up this idea of like I think unequal opportunities. Because this can be a very difficult concept to grapple with, right? And so I understand your perspective of that playing a role, because I do believe that a lot of people in general are very touch and affection starved, especially when we're living in a time where we've been living in a global pandemic for the last 2 years. So it's like, we're not really getting the same kind of contact that we were. And while this does happen for women as well, I think women on average tend to have more built up social networks where they have other kinds of connections and other kinds of like friendships and like broader support systems. So I do I think it's important that you put that perspective in. However, I also think that this is born out of misogyny, and then it plays out in ways that I do believe are misandrist as well. I think that this is actually a problem of like gender roles and gendered expectations, in that your masculinity and your worth as a man is tied to like how much pussy you can get. And then men they internalize that and make that part of their self-esteem, which I think is like so completely devastating. That in itself is misogynistic, but it plays out in your life stage as like you being damaged and like damaging yourself, and other people, men and women, damaging you, all connected to like your ability to fuck, or like you saying that it's like your job as a man to go out and do those things. And I'm not saying that you believe that, but I'm saying like those are messages that you have heard, that have been given to you. So I think like a really important thing that we can do is decoupling a sense of identity and a sense of self-esteem from sexual experiences. I think I had something else that I wanted to say with that, but someone in chat said I had a big, very wrinkly brain, and I thought that was funny, and I got distracted, and now I can't remember what else I was gonna say.
All good.
So I
Wrinkles
guess
have
I'm
unwrinkled.
done.
Apparently not that wrinkly.
Your
So
punishment for looking at chat.
Smoothing in real time, yes.
Yeah.
Merrick, have you taken your medicine today?
Oh no, I haven't. I literally haven't.
Med
I
check.
literally
actually.
just took some.
Med check.
Yeah,
And my
food.
food is here, but I can
I'm
still
gonna
hear
worse
you
than
guys. I gotta go.
Okay. No,
We'll
I
be
mean,
right back.
I'm gonna good. I'm glad that because this is actually when you get back, you might have some input on this too, Merrick. So,
Okie dokie.
what I was in the military. I was in the Navy when I was 19, and I lived overseas in Italy. And just like what we were talking about, literally the idea of like making women into just like, I mean, it's we say it all the time, right? Objectification, but literally an object or a goal. Because I do remember just kind of like what Merrick was saying, this idea of that like, oh, I need to smash, I need to get pussy, I need to like, that's what'll make me happy, right? And that'll, and often it leads to those awkward interactions in the first place because you don't even know what to do. And yes, it is italics X-phobic. Thank you, Sense. Of like what to do in regards of like actually in these interactions with women or the opposite sex, where there's just a standstill, and as we've already said, but like, and maybe it's just like, oh, maybe I just do it, right? Because no one's being taught in the first place or how to just communicate. And I think. As Merrick was bringing up, this central idea of sex being like the ultimate goal of intimacy, I guess, or the ultimate ends of intimacy is just really destructive because there's no like, it's the whole, you know, like, can you be friends with a woman debate? Like, you know, like, can
That was like a real thing. Like people talk about like in high school, like I just can't see it happening. I don't know.
Right, like it's
so many
rather
women
than
friends.
focusing on relationships as a whole,
Won't speak.
as like interpersonal relationships, it's just the how I get comfort is sex. And one thing I wanted to talk about with Merrick, because I believe that she's stripped in the past, is that, and danced, is that like I've heard this as a normal thing too. I did it as well, especially when I was 19, 20 living overseas. I went to strip clubs. I was in the military. It's a very common thing to do really regularly. And I found out a big thing about that. What I would do was I was going there to like feel like a lot of times if you get like a backroom show and like pay for that, a lot of times men are just like talking to those like they're so deprived of the idea that like I don't know how to just like have some type of like gratification sexually and like as a friendship, so like I have to go in and pay for that, and then I can sit with the pretty girl who just goes and listens, and like, you know, you'll get really drunk, people like cry on like girls' laps in strip clubs like that. And I've been that guy, like, and I think a lot of that coming from this idea that we need shops.
I think I really made a connection with her. I think she likes me.
Yeah, I think
Right, exactly. And so it's like, let's commodify this. And because like, I mean, it's literally obviously commodified, but just I need this little bit of intimacy. And because I don't have these interpersonal relationships, because I can't look at women other than just the sex, I need a girl that's half naked to be able to listen to me.
Well,
Privately.
also sometimes it's not about like I only look at her as just the sex. It's just like, and I talk about this sometimes because some people, especially if they're like ace nerds, who like stumble into my chat and they're like, Shark, why is everyone so horny? Well, it could be that they actually like really want to be horny, or they're deprived of attention or intimacy, and they think that the easiest way to get that, or the quickest way, or the most acceptable way right now that leaves you the least vulnerable emotionally is to get that sexually, or through like being sexual, something along those lines. And so sure, like it could be I only look at her as like a sexual thing, or it could be like the only time that a girl spends any attention on me, like or gives me the time of day is when I'm paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
So I know that feeling. I feel that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, just saying, like, I think that a lot of it is like a lot of people are just lonely. It's not even about like, and then
Yeah.
I think it's something. Yeah, it's more acceptable to be just like, oh, I'm just a horn dog, even though a lot of it's more just about like insecurity or loneliness and like wanting a connection with someone, and then it's easier and more acceptable to have a, put forward a facade or like kind of a face of just like,
Mhm.
yeah, like I just want pussy, instead of being like,
Right.
I really just want a girl I can cry on, or someone.
No,
not even a girl.
seriously.
Like
I
fucking,
guess.
so we're in polling, right? And like one of the things we do is like we have callers and stuff, and I have to monitor calls to make sure our polls are going, our surveys are going through well. And even old people, and even younger people too, they will just like, you'll ask them this question, like, who did you vote for in 2020? Joe Biden, Trump, other, and they'll be like, yeah, I voted for Biden, and there's one thing about that, and they'll just go into the story because they want someone to talk to. They've no one's talking to them. Like, it's just having that, even if it's a random call house person, like it's still better than nothing. And so a lot of people are so deprived, like, of touch and of human connection that they really need anything, and that applies to young people, old people, everything. Young people, I think they do a lot of the horny shit to try to combat that, but I don't know. That's my
I used to work doing phone surveys, and I would just have to like call up people and like ask them about like, is the refrigerator running or some shit like that. There's been like a non-zero amount of times that like whoever after I was done was just like, yeah, like, do you mind if I give you my phone number so that you could just like, I don't know, call me sometime? But like the person lives like in a whole different fucking province. Like I was living in Quebec, the person would live in like Newfoundland and be like, can we keep in contact? I think people generally are just like so just like deprived, but I suppose it's like a lot easier to say like other things as opposed to like I'm just sad. Yeah, I make it I guess this sounds weird, but I make it a little bit of a point, not all the time, but quite often a point to if I meet someone who's like not done the sex yet, I typically try to like help them with being that person, because I also recognize that like my first time sucks so thoroughly that I don't want to have anybody else have like a really shit time. So like a lot of times like I'll like walk the person through that and everything, or like even
What, you'll be doing sexual mutual aid?
Yes.
True practice.
Well, Merrick, your point has it's come to fruition.
I'm so annoyed that you got to bring up sexual mutual aid on this stream before I did, because I was patiently waiting my turn so that I could interject it into it and talk about how I am vindicated and I was right the whole time.
Damn.
Body.
Cuck.
Yeah.
Man, I fucking beat
This,
you to it
on the
though.
woman haters panel, incredible.
But
Damn.
yeah, every like once in a while, even like for people that like I see, let's say on Tinder that are, and I end up talking to them and they're like, I've never done the thing before. I'm like, okay, let's talk about this.
Poor
And
you.
like a lot of, or someone's like, I haven't done the thing in like 5 years. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. But like, it just seems like a lot of times, like people will come on like Tinder and be like, I'm just here to fuck, ha ha ha, and then like they actually just want a friend. And like sometimes like I'm okay to be their friend. I'm cool with that. But I just wish I wish the homies had one. I've seen men interact, and it's the most fucking painful thing I've ever seen.
It's-
Like
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
no, like so, I've seen like
Miss Andrew,
I've seen
much?
2 guys that haven't seen each other in like 5 years, and they're like, "Yeah, my mom died. It sucks, bro." Yeah,
It
That's
does
rough,
suck,
buddy.
bro.
and I'm like, can you cry? Like, I want to punch one of them in the face so at least someone starts crying. Like, it's
God.
it's so painful to watch. Like men not seeing each other for a while. Like me and the girls were like, "Oh my god, like I miss you so much." Ah! And then like guys are just like, "It's been a
Pity.
minute." Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's painful.
I
I
work.
make sure
A lot
to
of that,
like
yeah. It's
I make sure to say like I love you to my friends too. Like two of my
Yeah.
closest friends, like from the military. No, exactly. I always tuck them in too.
Yeah.
But legit though, like I mean, I think that's definitely something we also need. So Critical Ace Theory, streamer friend of mine, they also said, and it goes to what you were saying, Katarina, is that for men, it's definitely easier to say they need sex than that they need emotional support, because needing emotional support is seen as weakness. And I definitely feel like there's truth in that.
I love seeing a man cry, okay? And not like in your pain, like it's not like in the like Schadenfreude or whatever the fuck the word is. I'm
Schadenfreude.
I'm so good at German. But yeah, it's not like through that. It's just like every time a guy cries, I'm like, you destroy that motherfucking patriarchy by guy. Like, I don't know. I like it. Like,
Oh my
dude,
gosh.
let it flow. Like, I don't know why you're sitting there and like see like at your parents' funeral, just like fucking Arthur fisting it
yeah,
down
I
there.
know.
Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Cry.
Yeah,
Man.
So,
yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, you know, I'm not like Kyle, all right? So, well, actually, I kind of was like Kyle, you know? I ain't cried since 06. I ain't frowned since 01. There was like a long time, like 5 years or something, where I didn't cry. Like all through that, I think both my grandmas passed away, and we found out my mom had cancer, and we went from like a nice home in Missouri to like an apartment, and we moved like 3 times, and I lost all my friends, and I didn't cry once until like a big thing happened in my life, and then I just started crying, and I was like crying, but I didn't, and it made me really upset that I was crying, because I didn't want to cry, because I didn't like it. And it was worse than normal crying, because I'd lost like complete control. Because before, you know, you could like cry, you could like take a second, you could take a couple deep breaths, and you could like suck it up, right? Before, because the day before, I like felt myself crying, and then I stopped myself, and I took like a deep breath, and I said, well, I mean, I'll see you later, right? And then I don't know, just like sometime I was thinking about it, like the problem actually happened. Like it's real. I woke up and it was like, oh, life is still like this, and I just started. I think I cried for about like I was at work, right? So I cried for like 15 minutes in while in like the McDonald's takeout window. So imagine like you go through like the window, and like the person there, like, I want my chicky nugget, and like the person in the window is just like softly crying, right, and pretending that it's not happening, until like somebody like told my manager, and they're like, yo, you okay? Are you having a panic attack? I'm like, just give me a second. And they said I can go on my break. So I cried for like 30 more minutes, and it was like the ugly, like, I cannot control this sort of crying. And then I think it kept going for about 2 hours, and then I like cried myself home, and I talked to my parents for like 5 minutes crying, and then I like went to bed and I cried myself to sleep.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, like, and it felt bad, and I was pretty upset about myself, because everybody around me gave me a bunch of support, but I hated the idea of like me crying to the point where I've like lost control of like my emotions, to the point where I'm crying and I can't stop myself from crying, and I feel bad and I can't fix it.
That reminds me of when I was in college.
Yeah.
I lost one of my childhood friends to a car accident. So we hadn't seen each other for years. So at first, like, it didn't absorb, I guess. And like, she was only 18. So like, it took a few days, but like, I was just at the gym at the college, and it just like hit me really bad, and I went into the bathroom and just started crying my eyes out. Like, it was insanely bad. And then like, we went to the funeral, or not the funeral, we went to the viewing. I think there's like a better name for that, I forget, but
Awake.
yeah, the wake, thank you. Closed casket, but
A watch party.
What?
Sorry.
Damn, dude. Damn, dude. Not coming on your page
Not on my
anymore.
mouth, sorry.
It's okay.
What's up, Grandma?
No, it was so we went in there, and I was doing okay. I was holding it together, but then I saw her mom, and her mom is just like this stoic, like smiling. Oh, it's so good to see you guys. Like, and I just fucking lost it, dude. Like, my chest hurt, and I like started crying my eyes out, and I was like the hardest crier there. It was so bad, dude. I was embarrassed about it for a while, but you know, I look back and I'm like, well, that's just a fucking normal response, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Crying
you know,
do be embarrassing sometimes.
right.
That's true.
and
even when it's
if I could, I know you want to go, Merrick. Can I add one more thing? I wanted to add it earlier. I work,
Talking
so
about
I
women.
switched from I switched from nursing homes to drug rehab, and I work in a men's facility, so like we don't have women. We have men, right? And there is a woman's side, but like they're old school. They used to be just strictly religious.
Alex, like, I'm not going to that side. It's all women.
No, it just happens. I'm on the men's side, which I'm glad actually, because knowing what I know, just as a side note, there was one guy who's like in his 40s, and his daughter has a trans male friend, right? Like a trans female to male. And, at first he was like, oh, he's confusing my daughter, whatever. And he was like not using correct pronouns, whatever. But like, I showed him some research on it, and took like 2 or 3 days, and he comes back to me. He's like I talked to my daughter about it, and like, we're connecting over this, and I can't believe this. And, it was really cool to see. So I am glad that I get to be that influence there for them, So I, teach like groups and stuff for them while I give out meds and stuff. I do back and forth. And these guys are so emotionally damaged, like just insanely insane. Like we're talking the most emotionally damaged people probably, if not in the country, at least in the area, like in the state. Like they're bad. So, a lot of these guys, there's 2 drugs that we like to give these guys. Like they're like shots, and one of them is Vivitrol, and the other is Sublocade. And they're both injectable versions of drugs that are supposed to like keep you from using other drugs. They like take away cravings. But a lot of guys don't want them. And the only reason they don't want them is because they're like, you know what, I got willpower. I can just power my way through it. I can just mentally get through it. And it's like I had to sit one of them down, and I'm like, look, would you expect a cancer patient to say that they can mentally will their way through the cancer? Do you really think that they would do that? And they're like, well,
yes,
no, but it's different. I'm like, it's a little different, but like alcoholism and drug addiction is a disease, man. Like you need help, you need treatment, like these guys just think that it's all willpower and stick and wit and grit and spit and, everything else. And you gotta like drill it into these guys that it's fine to ask for help, Anyway, that's all.
So, I guess I have a few thoughts about like a couple of the topics that we touched on.
She's thinking.
I'm thinking one of the things that you said.
Also, can you mutual aid during the thing too?
Oh, we'll get to sexual mutual aid.
Okay.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. For the uninitiated. So you mentioned this idea that the strip club is a place where men will go just sort of to have contact. And I think it's I like that you mentioned that, because one of the things that I encounter all the time is, well, you have a skewed perception on men and women. You have a skewed perception on misogyny because you worked in the strip club, so all you saw all the time were the bad men, were the worst men. So because that's your life experience, you're actually just biased. This is something that I get all the time, and that's not how the strip club works, actually. There are a couple of creepy guys that come in for sure, and there are like rude guys that come in, but every kind of person goes to the strip club every single night. So there'll be a table where it's like 2 lesbians, and they're just there to give every girl on stage $3. Next to them is a table of like 10 dudes and 3 girls, and they just want to drink vodka. And if you go over, they'll be super friendly, and then you're like, hey, do you want to dance? They're like, no, we're just here to drink. And you're like, okay, I hate you. But nobody tries to touch you, and like everyone is just like, they're just having fun. And then the next table over is a man who, as soon as you sit down, he is instantly moving his fingers up in between your legs, and you're like, yeah, okay. So like, there's every different kind of person, and most people are not that like creepy, like skeevy, like come here, sit on my lap, I'm going to give you herpes. Like most customers are not that person. And yeah, and everyone talks like every single person in every strip club every night is that guy. Yes, the strip club diversity. Thank you very much. So there are a lot of people who there are a lot of people who come in who, I loved this, and I think that this was the crowd that I appealed to that would buy VIP with me. So, you know, you'd go, you'd sit in the back, and like one of my regulars, our interaction was he came in, he would buy VIP, and then we would sit in the back, and I would just hold him for an hour. Like, I would play with his hair, I would scratch his back, and I would just hold him. And I often made most of my money from stage and VIP. So in VIP, like a lot of customers
just like me.
would pay for hours. He's just like me. They would pay for hours,
for real.
and they would sit there and they would just want to talk. And I think what I saw, and especially with military men, ask any whore you know. We love. Oh, I don't know if I can say that. Sorry. Ask any sex worker you know. We love military boys. Half of you are eating crayons and have no idea that you're being hustled, and the other half of you are just like, the other half of you are like just super down to earth, really
The purple
cool.
one's my
Like,
favorite.
hey, excuse me, what's that?
So the purple one's my favorite.
So true, bestie.
Marine
So
Corps.
true.
It tastes the best.
We love y'all. We love y'all boys. But so like, you know, the other half of you are like I've been on base for 3 months. I have not seen a woman. I understand this is your job. What's okay, what's not. I'll be a good boy. I'll sit on my hands. The United States government just gave me $3,000. I have no money management skills. I'm here to give all of it to you. So, like, there's a lot of that, too. And I find that very often I would play therapist. This would happen all the time. And so this actually kind of rolls into the question of, Merrick, what is sexual mutual aid? Why does everyone giggle when that phrase is said? Well, when I was talking about my experiences very early on in my Twitter career, I was talking about the idea that I don't think that we can actually erase sex work, because a lot of people, I think, on the left and a lot of very progressive people act like sex work is just sort of this thing that we have to tolerate, and that as soon as we hit socialism, it will be destroyed. Sex work BTFO'd. It'll be done. We will liberate all the poor victims. And I just don't really think that this is how reality is. And I think that, you know, if we were to have like a better economic system with more social safety nets, I do think that we would probably see a significant cutback in sex work. But I think, you know, I came up with this idea that I was talking one time, and I was like, hey, you know, even if we lived in a stateless, classless, moneyless society, I think that we have so many people that just really are alienated from other people and really need affection. And I do think that there is a place in society for people who think that there is value in intimacy that is there's a place in society for people who think intimacy is something that we should prioritize more. So I was talking about, like, I was saying, will sex work still exist? People got really mad at me because Marxists are the most pedantic people in the world. And they were like, you can't say work because work only ever means labor in exchange for wages in a capitalist system. This is, I promise you, the story will get somewhere. Explaining the background of sexual mutual aid is like a 15-hour endeavor. I'm very sorry. But so I was like, okay, this is like clearly very pedantic. How, you know, what do you people think about, like, considering like the decommodification, I think, of intimacy and of sex? Because I do think that that this is really important, that we actually do point to the problematic elements of commodifying intimacy and of commodifying sex. at the same time, understanding that I think that we need a much more open-minded idea of what it means to have intimacy proliferated in society, right? So I was talking to some people and they were like, yeah, I mean, I would still make porn even if we lived in a society where people didn't have jobs and there wasn't money. I would still provide things like sexual aids. I would still want to spend time with people who are lonely, because you're right. When you say I used to do phone calls and people would be like, don't hang up, because they're fucking lonely. And when I did sex work, obviously I saw a lot of this, but when I cleaned pools, I had a lot of this too. When I left and I stopped cleaning pools, I had customers, at least 2 customers that were like, please keep talking to me. And I had one lady who was like, you're the only person I see. When you come around once a week, you're the only person I see. And you're the only person that I talk to. My kids don't really call very often. I don't really have visitors. And I was just like, wow, So I think that we do live in a society where there is this fundamental, we have a very dysfunctional relationship with the concepts of intimacy, and that often bleeds over in the relationships that we have between genders, the way that we look at sex. And so basically what I said was, I've talked to a lot of people who said that they thought the idea of looking at sex work is almost potentially a therapeutic tool in some contexts, and that they would be willing to sort of examine if there is a value there, and they thought that they might want to engage in things like that. And I was like, I think that there are grown adults who would be willing to look at that. So could we consider it a form of mutual aid? And me asking that question turned into a bunch of people being like, so you're saying you want comfort women, so you're saying you're a racist, so you're saying that you want state-mandated glory holes where incels are distributed girlfriends and women are forced into sex slavery. And I was like, nope, did not say any of that. But because it's Twitter, it just wildly spiraled out of control. So that's why people meme on sexual mutual aid and they make jokes about that, because I was hitting at this idea of how can we re-examine our relationship with the commodification of sex and with the commodification of intimacy, and how do we re-examine the barriers that we've drawn around intimacy and sex? And so that became, you hate Asian women because you want them to be forced into comfort sex slavery, and you hate women in general because you want them to be doled out to incels. So that's why when people say sexual mutual aid, Cat, everyone in the room snickers, because it turned into this absolutely gigantic shit show. And now it has become a meme. It literally has a Know Your Meme page where the people who wrote the Know Your Meme page say that I want sex slavery and that I think that people are just holes or whatever. So that became, it's a horrible thing. And I reached out to Know Your Meme and I was like, can you guys not do this or whatever? And I don't think I ever got a response. But yeah, so that was a totally wild ride, and that's what the sexual mutual aid thing is. Oh yeah, it's very wild. But so you are absolutely correct when you talk about a lot of people seeking out services from sex workers because of an alienation. And I think that this also speaks to a lot of the awkwardness that we see between men and women, and also this idea of men placing their value in sex, because we are alienated from the concept of men and women being able to be friends and have kinds of intimacy that are not related to we are in an immediate monogamous relationship or we are having regular sex with each other.
Yeah,
wait, Merrick. I'm sorry.
No,
okay.
You're good.
So, wait, Merrick, we've talked a lot about women's rights. Can we talk for a moment about women's wrongs? So,
No.
I heard that there are weird girls who come into the strip club and think that it's no holds bars because they're women and it's okay.
Wait, what?
Just saying no holds bars, I think.
So women will definitely you'll be on stage, it'll be a Saturday night, 1:30, you've got the prime time stage slot, you're on main stage, and a bachelorette party will come in, and guys will come in, you'll be doing your little thing, you're doing your little pole dance, and guys will come up, they'll be like, oh, very nice, here's your dollar, another guy will come up, he'll throw his money in the air, you're like, oh my god, I'm the baddest bitch, and then a hot girl will walk up, and you'll be like, yes, oh my god, because you're bisexual, so you walk up to her, and you're like, hey, how's it going, you start talking to her, this bitch will reach over, pull your fucking thong aside, show the club your vagina, and like slap it with money. Like, I have had women do shit like that, and I'm like, you just
Oh
potentially
my
got
God.
me arrested. Like, if there's a cop in the room right now, like, I'm gonna go to jail now because you just flashed my pussy to the club. Like, women will do wild shit. I've had girls like, I've had girls come up and just like instantly start like smacking me on the ass in front of people on Maine, and I'm like, you cannot
Maine.
do that because you are now sending the message to the rest of the club that they can all come up and physically hit me on stage. Like, you cannot do that. I do not know you, ma'am. We have just laid eyes on each other. Like, girls think that that they can do anything in the strip club because they're girls and they're not icky guys, so they can sexually assault you in front of a room of 100 people.
That's
yeah.
That's true also in
Yeah.
the server business. I had mostly like older women say that they would bring me home and like do things to me. It's like, are you kidding me?
I think after some
Really?
consideration,
I think that
I
comes
no
from-
longer support women's wrongs.
I don't know. That kind of sounds like in the thread where like a lot of people get really confused. They're like, "You're a guy. What do you mean you've been raped by a woman?" Like, like a lot of women are like, "But men always want it. As long as you're torqued, then I believe you want it." And like, I guess that just sounds
Oh,
very
I've
very
had my-
sketch.
I had my ass slapped by a coworker who was a woman. I didn't care personally, but that's me.
But
Not
very
everybody, not
much-
every guy is me, you know.
Yeah,
like,
very much.
Yeah.
They should
It
not
was
be doing
unprompted.
that.
And
Yeah,
I
I-
was actually just tangentially related, also kissed by a guy against my consent, so that was cool.
I've
Much
had-
shorter than
I've
me,
had a
actually, and
woman-
much smaller. So it
Yeah.
can happen to literally anybody. Just remember that.
I had a
Yeah.
woman do that to me in the bathroom. I was at a bar like probably 6 months ago, and I was in the girls' bathroom, and I like came out of the bathroom or whatever. We were just kind of chit-chatting for a second, and she reached over and like put her hand right here and fucking kissed me full on the mouth, and I was like, my husband's outside. What are you doing?
I forgot to mention this part. I was literally kissing my girlfriend at this bar. It was like a gay event. So we were just there because my girlfriend's bisexual and I'm like 2% reduced straight. So we were just kissing, and this dude is just like, I guess he just thought it's my turn now. Like, he was drinking, not excusing his behavior. He was drunk, and he just like comes up and decides it's his turn, grabs me forcefully, and I'm like, I had no clue what was happening. Never thought this would ever happen to me.
My turn
Ever.
now. Jesus
Yeah, sorry.
Christ.
Go ahead, Spencer.
No, I was just saying it's fucking wild. But like, yeah.
Well,
it's my
sorry.
turn now.
I got
Panorama?
you. Yeah, it's crazy. So that was my only point. Is
Yeah.
you know, it goes both ways. I feel like there are more men who do it, but then on the flip side of that, there are those women who think that they are allowed to do it because they're not icky men. You know, like what you said.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, women's wrongs are quite wrong.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
changed my position on this.
Real quick, can we go
Toxic
to
femininity.
Katarana? Is they had their hand up?
Yeah, I was talking to my mom a little bit about like sexual harassment in like the office and stuff, and she was just like, well, I don't know, like my coworker just like goes and like tells like guys about their body parts. I'm like, that doesn't really fix sexual harassment in the office. Like, just because someone says nice tits, Cat, and I'm like, nice dick, Steve, like, does that fix? And I don't know, I don't really think that
Ironic
sounds
harassment
productive.
has fixed it. Because now
Yes.
you can't tell what's positive. Well, now you can't tell what's real, so nobody gets hurt.
Yeah,
When everyone's
Yeah,
sexually harassed, nobody is.
Nobody is.
exactly.
Real quick.
Yeah, I didn't understand like what the point of that was, but like yeah, I think a lot of it was, I think just in general, like any types of conversations about sexual harassment when it comes to like talking about from a woman's perspective has always been some like very unhelpful, I suppose. A lot of times, like, you know, when I've like had conversations with like my family about any types of like sexual harassment, a lot of it's like, why did you let XYZ over at your house? I'm like, that fixes everything. So yeah, I think a lot of I think there's just a lot of different types of social dynamic problems that come up a lot when it comes to sex related things for some reason. I was also just thinking a little bit about so I went to my first like strip club when I was in Paris like a couple months ago. and I received like a lap dance, but also I felt really bad for some reason about the whole idea of even looking, even though I paid for it. So I was like darting my eyes at like 1,000 RPM. Like I was basically like,
You are my favorite kind of customer. Whenever people come in and they're like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't want to look. I'm always like, okay, that's okay. You can sit on your hands. Like, it's okay. I loved this aspect of being a dancer because like people who were really uncomfortable, like I loved being able to be like, hey, you know what? It's okay. You and me are here. I'm completely comfortable. We're going to do this in a way that makes you feel comfortable. So if you don't want to look, like that's okay. If you don't want to do anything with your hands, like you don't have to touch if you don't want to. Like we're gonna take this at your own pace. And people would be like, oh, okay, thank you. And it's like there's just so much, I think, like fear and trepidation and nervousness around like sex and how to interact with each other in these ways. So like you are my favorite kind of customer because I'm like, you're so pure. Oh my god, like you're just so wholesome and sweet. I really love that.
I think she found it very entertaining. Even like I went there with like another streamer and his girlfriend, and they were like, I've never seen someone look so uncomfortable in my entire life. And I was like, I didn't know if it was okay to look. Like I know I'm technically allowed, but like was it okay? Should I like sat on my hands the whole time. Like she gave me a hug afterwards, and then I like my palms got like all sweaty. I was very very scared. But I also like, I guess it's just really interesting to see like sometimes a difference in dynamic because some people are like, as long as I'm paying, I can do whatever I want. And I'm like, I paid, but like if you want, I can just give you the money and run away if you want. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, like my other two friends also paid for lap dances, but didn't receive them. They were just like, go get yourself some food, sweetheart. Like, yeah, we were just like very, very like uncomfortable. But I also just in general, I guess, like, I don't know if this is maybe like an internal like misogyny thing, but like some people would come by, like there was like a couple girls that came by and I was like, you're too young, please get away from me. Like, how old are you? Like 19? Please go away. Like I don't, yeah, I was just I don't know. It's a very interesting environment because you realize, like, I always like on the internet or like when I'm talking like on Tinder, I'm talking like mad shit. I'm like, fucking, you ain't got no game. And then I walk up in a strip club and I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. I guess like it's just very I guess interesting because it makes me sometimes think about like my relationship in general to like different types of sexual related things, I guess, because like I remember once at work it was like late and it was only different like women that were working 3 a.m. shifts, so like we were playing music and then they were playing that like song like my neck and my back and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh.
And my crack.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, they're talking about sex. Song. Like all and all of them were like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know, it's very sexual. I'm very confused. And they were like, I think, and they're like, I think you haven't. Yeah, and then they were like talking to me about like the possibility of me having internal misogyny, and I was like, I don't know if that's true. I think I'm just scared. Like she said,
nah, you can't be scared. You hate women, and you need to stop.
I guess sometimes I get a little bit confused. Like, am I being sexist if I don't want to hear someone say pussy and crack at work?
You're not. No, you're absolutely not. And I think that this is like. Okay, shut up. Hold on.
The minute decided.
Okay, that's I'm true. Overruling all of you. I don't think that this is like, I don't think that this is any sort of internalized misogyny, because like I am someone who has like been a sex worker and worked around sex workers for a decade, and every once in a while there is a woman that I'm like, pretty? Like, I don't know how to talk to you. Like, I'm terrified of you. Do not look at me. Do not perceive me, please. So, like, I still have this reaction sometimes. And there's sometimes when, like, I don't get that, like, visceral, like, oh my god, she said lick my crack. Like, I don't get that, but I do sometimes get like, you are a heavenly goddess, please walk upon my face with your heels. Like I definitely get that too. So I don't think that that's necessarily like internalized misogyny. I just think that there's something about like a really pretty woman that is like completely disarming sometimes. And I wonder how much of that has to do with like our relationship with pretty women, like putting them on a pedestal. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that we can explore with this, but I don't think that it's internalized misogyny.
Okay, wait. So we've done this and we've talked. Now, for me and Alec, mostly Alec and not me, but for both of us, since I'm gonna help him out here, if we're in the situation again when we're just like chilling and he's petting the girl's cat and I'm just like sitting there in the side of the room, how do I fix this conversation? How do we interact with women? Can you help us?
Thank you for speaking.
And for everybody else.
Yeah.
Same question.
Do you want to
True.
go first, Kat?
How do I speak to women if I'm in this situation? How do I what do I do? I don't want to be creepy. I don't want to be weird.
Depends on what time of the
Go ahead.
day it is, I suppose.
What time of the day?
Like, honestly, like, if somebody comes and tries to chat me up on my way to class or something, or like there've been times where like I'm waiting for the bus to come take me to class and someone's like trying to talk to me. I'm like, I'm not in the mood. Like, do you not see it's 9 a.m.? Like, no. I honestly, it really depends, because like sometimes like you could just tell like it's not the time or place. Like you'll see another cute girl like some other time, like she's jogging, bro. Why are you jogging after her? To be like, yo, that ass fat
Don't
though.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Was-
it really
Was the question
really
more
depends
about our
on.
scenarios earlier from when like we were just sitting in the same room as a girl?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
honestly,
like,
it was
you're
more-
not asking about should I chase her down at 7 in the morning, or if I see her on the bus with two headphones in, reading a book in one hand and on her phone in the other, is that when I approach her? Like, I don't think
yeah,
that's necessarily what you're asking.
I mean, that like approaching women in like specifically, that can be a little difficult. I know they're like definitely. I don't know if the girls here have had this experience where you wanted to talk to someone. I know the guys here, you all have had this experience because we built different. All right, you see a girl and you're like, damn, she's cute, and she's like with a friend, or she's like talking or doing something, and you're like, I wish I could like speak to her. What if there's like a moment when I can, and then you like wait, and it's like the double dutch thing where you're like, but you're like there and you're like going back, you're like, yeah, wait, next one, next rotation, right? You're like, wait, I don't want to feel like I'm staring at her, so I'm not gonna stare at her. But she's just so pretty, but I really want to talk to her. And then she leaves, and you're like, man,
Okay.
like
Okay.
that was difficult.
This is the strip club. So I think that's something that people don't realize, is that the social dynamics are completely flipped in the strip club. I am so scared of you fuckers in there because you are the people sitting at the tables with the money. Nobody else on this panel has walked up to someone who is like thoroughly unimpressed with their stack of money in front of them, completely and totally just looking around the room of 12s and just personally, wow, would never deign to let any of these slovenly 5s touch me. Like, there are definitely people like this that come in the club, and I am like, sir, you have not showered in 3 days. You don't get to have this attitude. But there's definitely
what's wrong with
people
that?
like that
When
come
he's
in.
got the money, he does.
Marinating.
But that's what I'm saying. So the social dynamics are completely swapped in the club, and now there are definitely those guys that are like, look at all these pigs in dancer outfits. Like, you definitely see that. But like most of the time, it's just people who are nice and they're just like hanging out, and you're like, oh my god, Gesundheit. Oh, you sweet angel. I'm sorry. That's the it's the baby. It's the Eddie. She's having a sneezy.
Oh no.
So there's definitely like a paralyzing fear. The only thing I can compare it to is doing an open mic in a room that you know is hostile. That's the only other time I have ever felt this way. But when I have like every part of me exposed, like there is a single ribbon going across my nipples, and that's what we're considering a top, and like I have like the tiniest G-string on, and I walk up to you and I'm like, hi, how's it going? Can I sit with you? And you go, no. And I go, okay. Like,
Yeah, but like the power though. The
that's what I'm saying.
power.
You have the power. Men always have the power in this situation. And there is something particularly also just like completely soul crushing about sitting with a man for 10 minutes and 15 minutes and they're laughing and they're loving your jokes and you're on a roll and they're like, oh my God, you love that? I love that too. And you're like, hey, do you want to go for a dance? Like, we've been sitting here for a couple songs. Like, would you want to do that? And they're like, no, I don't think so. I think I'm actually good. And you're like,
Damn.
okay, and then you walk away and then another girl comes up and she sits down and within like
Oof.
30 seconds they go walk to VIP. You're like,
Mhm.
you're like, what is wrong with me? Because it's like, you not only are you selling your body, but you're selling
Mhm.
who you are as a person
Mhm.
while you are literally naked. So when you're talking about like, have you ever got there where you're sitting there and you're like, when do I go? When do I go? When do I go? I have had nights at the strip club where I literally paid to work. I paid to walk in the door and I paid my managers and I paid the DJ and I walked out $70 poorer than I was the night before because I sat in the back and I went like, and you know, you go, there's a table and you walk up by the table and then as you turn to go look at them, you see that their head turns and they start talking to your friend and so you go and you do blade hands and you walk in the other direction and you're like, nobody saw that. Like, there is so much of that happens in the strip club. So I think that's like one of the reasons why I can identify with guys who are like, I can't talk to her because I'm sweating through every pore. Like, I get that because I felt that way and it's absolutely terrifying. So I think that like your question of like, how do I approach women in the wild? I think I actually am kind of an okay authority on this because most men will be like, don't listen to women. Women don't know. Men just come to them all the time. I actually had to develop a strategy in the strip club because I started stripping when I was 18 and I was like a mega autist, right? There were so many. I'm sorry, I literally am on the spectrum. Like, I have been diagnosed. So like I would sit down with people and I'd be like talking to them and we'd be talking about politics for like 30 minutes and they'd be like, yeah, damn. And I'd be like, yeah, damn. And then I'd be like, do you want like a dance? And they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, yeah, me either.
Oh my God.
Talk about a genocide. Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, that sounds like a great business model. Okay, autistic strippers. I like it.
But it wasn't though. Like, I literally had to learn how to interact with people and to get that thick skin. And there were so many times where I had to walk away from tables being like, I'm going to go in the back and I'm going to drown myself in a toilet in Roblox in Minecraft. Like, there were so many times where I was just like, I want to crawl out of my own skin because of how I interacted with that person. And I just had to do that over and over and over and over and over again until it got to the point where I could sit with anybody, any race, any socioeconomic status, any age, and they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And like 9 times out of 10, I was getting dances. But it took so many just like, I want to flay my own skin off interactions before I got to that point. So I think the thing with approaching women is it's like, how do I approach women and it not be horrible? You don't. It's just horrible. And then you keep doing it. And then it gets less horrible over time.
Yeah, it's true. You had to practice. Yeah. Can't just like expect to be really good at it. Yeah,
you have to just be horrible for a while. Now the question of like, once you're in the room, I think you just have to go for it, dude. I think that's another one of those things where it's like, it might end up horrible, but I think you just
shoot your shot.
Okay, have you seen the Batman 2021 with Robert Pattinson? Or like
No. You're wrong. You go. Have you seen the Joker?
Oh, okay, yeah, you're
Okay,
right. He's just like me, for real.
I made a joke about this, but like I work at a movie theater.
They're just like me, actually. Sometimes.
And this girl saw my because I have very green hair because of seaweed, right? And this girl says she was going into the Batman, and she goes, "The Joker," and I'm like, "No," and she says, like she immediately like felt bad and regretted it. I'm like, damn, I could have had a crazy Harley Quinn bitch, man. Like I missed it, but
That's
no,
true.
it was just
Throw it away.
We just get. I was like, are you gonna shoot this up? Why are you gonna shoot this up? Like, I would be more like sketched out if I saw somebody Joker posting again. I'd be like, oh, he's gonna shoot this up. For me, I guess most of the time, if I when it comes to approaches, I usually go for the like very respectful one, you know, like we'd chat for a while or something, and at the end, I'll, like when I don't think they're obligated to talk to me anymore, like let's say if I'm at a restaurant and I think like the waiter's cute or something, well then
What?
I'll just make sure I wait until like the very, very end, so that they don't have to keep on dealing with me. So, you know, like
You're hitting on
Really considerate.
you're hitting on service
no,
work.
I'm not. So basically what I say, like when I'm leaving, is like, hey, I think you're cute. I left my number on the table, but you don't need to take it. But I just wanted to let you know. Okay, bye.
I mean, it would be so cute. I mean, cool.
One of my
Thank you
characters
so
would be
much
like Bion.
for being at my table. Thanks for bringing me that drink. I have a crush. I mean, I like the crush that you brought me.
The scrambled eggs dish. Would you please scramble my uterus? Yeah.
my
Could you pancake my? I mean, can I have the pancakes?
I think it's pretty weird, like if you come out right away and be like, yo, what's up, toots?
Yeah,
And, like, they have to keep on serving you for the rest of the fucking night or whatever. So I just wait until like I'm like, I'm leaving. There's $20 on the table. There's a
Get that-
number. You can throw it away.
Get that sweet tuchus over here,
True.
babe.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely left my number on like receipts before. Yeah, for the specifically the Applebee's.
Well, I
waitress.
did
Those
actually
girls be
once.
banging.
I was dicked
But-
out of that. I had a girl leave a number on a receipt for me when I was serving, called it, never got an answer. How fucked is that?
Dude. No,
Why?
that's-
I didn't even
that's
ask
the
for
great-
it. It's like, dude, come
That's
on.
the great bamboozling.
I didn't even ask for this rejection right now.
I did what? Yeah. Like,
There's a 1
I was literally chilling all the way up until you decided to reject me like this. But no, I mean, when I
cool.
was working at McDonald's, now
Perfect.
the roles were reversed. Now I had the power, okay?
mm,
All right, because I would
spitting your food.
I hit on like a couple of girls, okay, through like the window, and you know what? It felt pretty good.
It's like Love Is Blind, but speed running it. You know, you don't know. You just hear the voice through the intercom.
Yeah, it was like her order was taking a while, and so it was like the normal chatting. But then I don't know. It was just like, you know, I feel like she likes me or something. I feel like she thinks that I'm okay because
One
I
thing
think
I'd
I'm like
to-
reasonably charismatic, and so
Yeah.
I like asked for some of their numbers, and you know what? Sometimes I got them.
One
You're
thing
like, will that be 8 or 12 nuggets? And by the way, girl, you got a sexy voice. Like, that's so incredible. Are you
my God.
seriously talking about just like hitting on people through the intercom?
No,
the
not the
drive-thru?
intercom. Not the intercom. it was either
At the window?
what was called at the window. So it was one of the two. I work service, so
Which
What-
window? The dollar window?
Okay.
Why do they have 2 windows? I'm still mad about
I
it.
don't ever
well,
know.
there's 2 windows
Um,
for efficiency. Back money is for specifically only taking money and fixing your order, and second window is for like actually getting your. What's supposed to happen is you're supposed to only talk about your order. You're supposed to only give money and then go and then go get your food and then go like that. And it's supposed to be you're supposed to have your money ready by the time you've gone to the intercom to there, so you won't be fumbling not only like your wallet but
Yeah.
also your food.
You're
That's what
supposed
it's
to say,
for,
you're
but
right,
other people
Spencer,
don't.
and then... Yeah,
Yeah.
you're mad with me, but...
Hey, listen.
like to-
Is there a real
if
answer
you work
inside?
service
No.
sometimes, and
Yeah.
you have an opportunity, you see like a cute girl in the in the drive-through, Deuterino, like you hand her
Deuterino.
her food, you shoot your shot, partner.
Well,
I mean, what's the
so
worst
I
thing she
wanna-
does? Drive away in her fucking Prius? Boo.
What's she gonna do? Call the
I wa-
police?
One thing I'd like to bring
Altima
up
only goes so fast.
when we're talking about like pickup culture and stuff like that, right? I think one thing that I make a habit out of, like people don't know how to like comment, especially like on a woman, but like it goes both ways though. But like comment on a woman without it like being weird and gross. And like one thing that for me, I like I say, kind of practice it every day, which is just like to me, compliments are free. I like to. And they don't ever have to be about someone's body. And I think that's where men make a weird mistake, like all the fucking time. Because to me, it's always like, and men are pretty much very similar, but like I like on the subway and people love to, I live in New York. A lot of people love to like think, oh, New Yorkers are just so rude and whatever. Like I'll look at like people's like fits because people have really nice fits in New York, like all different kinds. I'm like, hey man, I love your drip. And they're like, they'll light up, smile, and be like, oh, thank you. Like, or their shoes, And I think that's similarly a lot of times with women. Like I always talk about, a cat, like the thing you're bringing up. Yeah, well, he got like at least 3 different compliments about his hair. Yeah, that was nice. But I like to compliment women on like hair, nails. It's like things that you actually like put work into, and you
I love
obviously
it
care
when
about.
girls do their nails. It's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Tattoos are a big one.
Yeah.
Like girls with
I've
tats.
had men entirely follow me out of like public transportation just to let me
Oh
know
my
that like my tits look nice, and I'm like, what? Like, where do you think this? Like, where do you think this is going?
Where is the lead? Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It's
like,
called a compliment. Dude, feminism these days. Women can't take anything.
Women
Holy
need
shit.
I mean, right? No, like I was like getting getting out of the metro. This man straight up like was supposed to be getting on, did not get on, followed me, and he's like, yo, what time is it? I'm like, you would have known if you stayed in the metro. And he's like, yeah, I just want to let you know you got some bomb ass titties. I'm like, wow.
Jesus.
Okay, hold on. So when I was like 20, when I was like 20 years old, I was probably like 21 or 22. I used to run out of a car, so I had to ride a bicycle everywhere. I was on like, I think I was downtown actually, and I was trying to go home, and a man in a Suburban was like, hey, pull over. Oh my god, pull over. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. What's happening? There's an emergency. There's something crazy. And he was like, you really need to pull over. So I'm like, okay, maybe I have like my back tire is on fire or something and I can't tell. And we pull into a parking lot, and in front of like all of the public, we pull into this parking lot, and he's like, hey, you're really cute. I was like, what the fuck?
Shoot your shot,
God.
king.
Like he was like, you need to pull over. Like it was like this horrible tragedy was unfolding behind me. I had to cut across lanes of traffic. Like I was like, because there's not bike lanes in Austin. I was like in the road, and he was following behind me in his Suburban, and I was just like, are you fucking kidding me, my guy?
How
mad were you?
That there's a worse place to pick up women.
I was scared. I was scared. I wasn't mad. I was scared because, like, I think violating social norms to that degree is like really abnormal. So that to me, I was like, ooh, if you'll do that, like, that scares me. That makes me nervous.
Look,
so yeah.
Say what you want.
Like, bring me the manager, because that was the best damn meal I've ever had. You know, that kind of thing. Like embarrasses like the person for like 5 minutes, and they're like terrified they're gonna lose their job. And it's like, but that was the best meal I've ever had.
Oh, I hate that.
Dude, you want to pull like they think that they're the guy from Ratatouille. They're just like, oh, amazing.
Yeah, they're like, hold everything.
Say what you want, Merrick. That dude made a mistake going 60 miles an hour. Okay?
I mean, say what you want, Merrick, but at least he got to talk to you, unlike most people online who want to speak to you.
That is true.
Honestly,
he just was like, wow, I know you're gonna be famous one day.
What
so
would
like,
have
I
been,
just wanted to get your audible autograph.
What would have been the proper response is to screenshot or take a picture of the license plate and then look that up in the database and then geolocate your car. That's how you do that, okay? That's how you do that without being creepy.
Excuse me, Alec. I don't know. I just thought it was very I just thought that was so wild. Like,
it is wild.
Because I was actually pedaling for a little bit. I was like, I don't know about this guy. I don't know who this guy is, and he kept being like, "No, pull over."
What's
That's
odd
why
to
I was
me?
like, okay.
How did the dude like?
Why wouldn't you? You literally thought that like something's happening.
I thought there was like some sort of something was wrong with maybe my chain had come off on my bike and I just hadn't realized it yet or something. Yeah, that was totally wild.
Insane shit and be like, I'm just quirky, like I'm just being romantic, and it's like
I'm wacky like
scared
that.
someone for their life,
Like,
dude, how I met your
love it
mother.
when you.
This is like one of the epitomes of like, what time of the day is it? Like, if she's on a bike going somewhere, it's not the time. Like,
but it'd be quirky.
I'm busy. I'm doing something right now.
He sounds like a nice
in
guy.
the middle of something at this moment. It's like, you want to go out for coffee?
Bro, we are in traffic. We are in traffic. I am on a bicycle. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
You're
Sims
dying
brings
for.
up a really interesting point with like the quirky or like nice guy type of shit, because it just makes me think about like 500 Days of Summer or whatever. It's like I just need to be gentlemanly and I can, as long as I go and shoot my shot and like break all like social norms or whatever, but I can show that I'm so kind and nice.
yeah, she'll be like, wow, wow, he just really cared. And all I'm really thinking is like, I'm late. I'm also about to get run over by the person behind me, and you're.
Well,
I'm
we're releasing
flabbergasted.
police.
Yeah.
Women
That's-
women are Pokemon to men that are like, your main job is for me
You
to
gotta
like
catch them all.
exactly. I gotta go like throw my master ball or whatever.
Guys.
And
Well, actually, you use that
here's-
once.
Phrasing.
So,
phrasing,
Here's
yes.
A
Phrasing.
I use my Dom ball. Sorry, I'm done.
simple
But-
exercise you can practice.
No, like
at home.
it's just going in and like collecting, and like that. The woman has nothing to do other than just to be me to speak at her.
But I don't.
How
this
you
is
say that
genuinely-
when men only talk to women that they can, and women talk to the guys that they want. Yikes! Incredible
Oh.
how you say that.
Yikes.
Yeah, I guess. No, I there's actually genuinely like really there's like ways to compliment women that you don't know, like
I love your mind, girl.
and it's like
It's
I'm
so fucking wrinkly. Ooh,
Look,
your
you got a
brain.
nice body,
Ooh,
but
your
really
brain
smart.
so wrinkly,
just sitting
girl.
there drinking like a coffee, and he's like, I love the way you order that venti fucking frappuccino. Like, get out of here.
yeah.
Yo, what the heck? Why do you hate that guy? That compliment seems pretty sick to me.
Okay,
I don't know,
only a few comments on the
So weird. That's
It's-
so weird.
I personally just like if someone like compliments the thing that they can tell I put in a bunch of time on. Like you like if you just like if your eyebrows are fucking banging that day, like I want him to say like, yo, I see your contouring, or like I see that fucking pencil. What's up, girl?
Which
Like
my
You know what? I did actually. I used my time in. Once again, I used my time in McDonald's to kind of like practice doing that. Because there'd be like women. There'd be yeah. I'm sorry. Listen, working service. You got to get something good out of it when you can. All right.
True.
So when women would come by, I'd be like, okay, assess the woman, look her up and down. What did she do today? You know what? I see. She put work into her eyebrows. They look like there's makeup on there. Nice eyebrows. Nice. Your eyebrows look great today. Wow. Your shirt,
put it eyebrows.
amazing. Ma'am, I hope you enjoy your nuggets. Also, your titties are banging. I didn't do that. That one's not
Definitely
like
the
you
last
know,
one.
compliment like if
Shark.
she has like some jewelry on or something like
saying
compliment her
is
hair.
if you
I
said
almost just said Vosh. Don't.
Shark. I would be pretty happy because I know that my food would be free because you're in trouble. That's all I'm thinking. Like every time an Uber driver says some shit to me, I'm like, ooh, this ride's about to be fucking free. Like I get happy, but yeah, like I hope you're not telling them. But like for me, I spend so much fucking so much time trying to make sure my hair is doing something that if anybody says nice hair, I'm like, oh my god, like do you wanna snog now or later? Like there's actually there's things you
Well,
can
that's-
say.
no, and that's like I practice that with like I said, like with nails, hair, with like coworkers, because and I mean it too. I don't like say it out of like disingenuousness because
do.
like those things can also just of course those things can also just be like compliments. They're not freaky. They're not like, and that's my whole thing is that, like compliments are free. They're easy to give. People like hearing them. I like it when like a Kat brought up that I got a lot of compliments with about my hair being the color and stuff like that. I love that. That's like it makes my day a little bit happier. Because someone noticed something that like I did for myself, and like or nice shoes or nice fit, like a nice trip. Like I think that's such a it's so easy to practice it too, and like you can just do it up to like anyone. Like I've just complimented people on the subway, men and women, all the time.
Right.
So
Yeah, I got a thing for girls and femme-leaning people with colored and dyed hair. So like anytime I see it, I'm like, yeah, exactly, Merrick, exactly. I'm like, you know, and like at the Papa John's that I go to sometimes, there's this chick with like really short, like sometimes it's dyed blue, sometimes green. I fucking love it, dude. And I tell her, I'm like, I love your hair. She's like, thank you so much. And then like,
Her name?
I don't know her
Albert
name.
Einstein.
I don't talk to her very much. I
What's
kind
the
of want
address
to,
of this
but like.
the store?
Yeah.
Like, shut up, Shark.
America, I've complimented you on your hair once.
I heard
For
that
me,
was
I don't know. It's
really
just kind of
good.
weird.
There
I
was,
don't, it may just I don't know. It may just be how like I grew up or whatever. But like giving just random women compliments, I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels disrespectful.
I try to be like, I just try to make like a, I don't know, I try to like make conversations through some fucking, I don't know, like
let me.
something's
joke.
happening. I'm like, look at that. Isn't that wild?
I want to talk about like a little bit more I want you guys' opinion on this compliment that I gave somebody, right? I thought this was this really cute girl, and she had like a little bit more of a round face, and she had freckles, right? And she had like a really, like, it was at the pharmacy, because I was going to pick up meds for my guys, and she had on a hoodie underneath of her like main uniform short sleeve shirt, right? And I just thought it was a really comfy look, right? Like, and she had like big curly hair like this. And I don't know, like there was something about it that was very warm and inviting, right? So like I told her, what I told her was,
I want to live inside of you.
No.
I want to crawl into the walls, man.
Want to do what Luke Skywalker did in the 5th movie. No. No.
You thought the bear smelled bad on the outside.
No.
I will be inside you and not the way you think.
No, what I did was we got through the med stuff. I didn't say nothing to her until the end of our exchange, and I was like, by the way, I just wanted to tell you, like, I like the comfy look you got going on, like the hair and the freckles and the sweater. I think it like all comes together really nice. I like it. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you," and then I left.
Yeah, that's really sweet. That's like, it's definitely not sexually charged. I don't think that there's anything. You weren't like, "Hey girl, you're looking frumpty," and I don't care. Like, you weren't like that. Like, I think like being like, "Yeah, you got a really comfy, cozy look."
No, girl, I love the Kanye look going on.
I just think she's neat.
Damn, girl, you look like Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, you look like you gave up today. That's that kind of thing. Like,
As long as
There's no place like
passion-
home, right? You want to come back with me?
Oh,
as long as you
no.
like lead with that, and it's like not like super like. Cause sometimes like when you're, especially the comfy thing, it can be sometimes have like a second thing too, where it's like you look like you didn't, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, like you look like you didn't try or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, nice sweatpants. You know, like the. Some
I
people
you
like,
look
you know,
tired today.
underhanded compliments.
Yeah,
They're
you
so
look
fun.
tired today. It's a classic one. Like,
Damn, girl, do you have severe depression? Yeah.
I just love.
I
how you
love
did
girls
it.
with bags under
Hold
their
on,
eyes.
What'd you
Hold
say,
on,
Kat?
okay, guys. Yeah, Katarana, can you go ahead? Sorry.
Yeah, be nice to Kat.
No, yeah, just like I love how you didn't put on makeup today. I just love the way you didn't try it. It's pretty
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Which, unironically, good
love
look, but
natural
also
women.
terrible way to say that.
yeah,
like,
exactly. Like,
I like the lazy look sometimes. It's nice.
I really hate it when people compliment my outfit because I know that they're lying. Like whenever,
That's
like a lot of times, like people in public will like try to compliment my outfit, and I'm like someone's like, I really love your like, I don't know, parka, because back in Montreal, everyone has a parka on because of how fucking cold it is, and I'm like, dude, I like this thing's literally gray and it's supposed to be white. Like you need to go away. Like
I mean, what if they like that? I don't know.
This is
I just
imposter
think,
syndrome, ma'am. You gotta take a
I can tell
compliment.
that you've really worn that thing down to the fucking yeah. No,
I love
like, get
how
away
you
from
just
me.
wear the same thing over and over again, like you're one of those cute cartoon characters. You only have one outfit. That's so ergonomical.
it's like,
But no, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's so
Ergonomical.
economical, girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
economic.
But like,
Wait,
yeah, I mean, I think if
like
you
Mark Zuckerberg, I just have the same shirt in my closet like 25
you dress
times.
like one of those billionaire, you dress like one of those billionaire girls. You know what I mean, girl? Like, and you look like $1 million. So, what's up? You want my number? Hi. But no, I think if you honestly, if you do have the time, just for like, just anybody honestly, and like talking to people, and especially if you're a guy, but to anybody honestly, and talking to whether that be like the opposite sex, the same sex, the your emperor out there that you want to hit up, like I would say just go out and just start randomly complimenting people. And like, especially if you work service or something, like, I mean, if the compliment's weird, if the interaction's weird, they'll know that you tried, and they'll just walk away. And you know what? And you won't have to think about it again. Then you just do another one, and then you can think about how that one was awkward instead.
I would like to make a point about the compliments because I think that we've talked a lot about like exterior stuff. I do think that like especially if it's someone that you know a little bit better, if it's not like a total stranger, I do think that like complimenting women especially on things that are not appearance related is like a really, really good thing to do.
You're so smart.
And also like don't compliment someone if it's not genuine. Like every compliment that I give to people, I actually mean it, right? And I do look for good things in people to see, but it's also like I do think it's very, very, very important that like I know that you're trying to be nice, you're trying to be sweet, you're like, oh, you look great, but just telling a woman like, hey, you know, I think you did a really great job on that panel, or like, hey, the way you wrote that paper that we turned into our professor, I think that was super cool. I loved when you put this thing in there. That is so much more important because we do live in a society.
Hey, it really sucks that I can't change your mind on that. Fuck off.
Value in who you are as a person, that goes so far.
Do remember that there is an intersectionality component at times as well, because like if someone were to come up to me and be like, wow, you speak so well, I'm like, what, did you think I was just gonna sit here and grunt? Like
I was hoping.
Yeah, you just
I think that's why like specific things can be really good. If you're like, hey, we worked on this project together and I saw that you did this thing right here, like I wouldn't have necessarily thought about that. I think that's really cool. Yeah, like, but I'm saying, like, if you don't really know someone, that can be difficult, but, like, if it is someone that you know better, yeah, I mean, I think, like, obviously don't be like, wow, you're so articulate. Like, don't do that one, but...
Yeah, don't hit you're really funny for something with a vagina.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had this one interaction on Bumble like not too long ago, and it was basically this girl. She was talking about how she got into... I don't know. I don't want to get anything like too specific, but she got into this one thing. She talked about how she had like a bad thing that happened in her life, and she wanted to like help people, and so she got into this thing. And I thought it was like so cool. So I complimented her. I said that she seems like an incredible. I didn't know too much about her at the time, but I was like, you seem like an incredibly caring and kind person, and that's an amazing thing to go out of your way to take care of other people like that. That's so cool. You know,
Yeah.
And so that's like one thing that's not about her like looks or anything. It's really something small that can come up, just about them, and if you can compliment them about that, and then like tie it to like core, like things about a person, them being kind, them being caring, nice, altruistic, these sorts of things. Like they're like really, they can feel you can get them with only like a small amount of digging. Which really makes people feel good when you compliment them about it.
Yeah, I think hobbies are big. Like just complimenting, like being like, oh, like do you like if it's in person and they have some sort of thing that indicates some sort of hobby. You can be like, oh, do you like do you draw? If you have like a pencil case with them or something like that. Like and it's also a conversation starter to an extent. You're like, oh, it's super cool. Like and that's a comment that people pay attention to because hobbies are like something someone chooses to do that they enjoy, and so if people find value in that. It feels a lot better than if it's like, even if it's their work and stuff, it's like, oh, it's cool you do that for work. Cause a lot of people, especially I live in Seattle. A lot of people work in like Amazon. No one wants to no one's like proud of where they work. If they work at Amazon or Microsoft,
Yeah.
it's Amazon or Microsoft.
Yeah. Also, I think I may have to go. It's been about 3 hours, but
I mean, we've been on
really,
it for a lot, so.
yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. It's been super sick.
Yeah.
I can't believe
It's always good to have these types of discussions. I think it's really great for the entire community. Like we talked about, there's not much of it out there, so when we can do it, I think it's very valuable when we do. So thanks, honestly, for having me on.
Actually,
And sushi. Wait, sorry, not sushi. Seaweed.
yes.
I know.
I'm sushi,
respond-
yes.
Listen. I'm doing my best. It's sushi, seaweed. It's
sorry,
basically
it's
the
so
same
good.
thing. Listen, I know I responded to
I'm
you
stealing
like
that.
once every 4 weeks, but
You and
Thanks, Rob.
everyone else. You're good. Don't worry. I am a spammer because I know everyone's busy. It's all good. That's just life.
getting
But I
streamers is
do
like
want
wrangling cats.
It is, and that's why I've gotten better at it. I've gotten some big names in it, and it's a skill I'm learning. But before you go, I would like to ask consent from you and Merrick for a follow on Twitch.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. What is it? Are you seaweed on Twitch as well?
Seductive seaweed. Here, I'll put it in there. I'll
You
type
got
in
it.
yours.
Yeah, you got it.
I've always laughed. Okay, you and one other person, because now it's not anymore. But there was you and one other person that have me as friends on Twitch, but didn't follow. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
They like the friend button.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, I think, I mean, if anyone, I'm just thinking here because I don't think I have any more like main points. Here's me.
Is there anybody who wants to come on for your Chad Vice segment?
Yeah, I thought we were
Yeah,
gonna do like question and answer
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys can do that.
Yeah,
can
I'd still love to do that.
names
Let Shark do that.
from people? Can you guys shout yourselves out?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm Sens Rules. It's spelled that way. I'm bad at spelling. And I stream politics and do a little music. I forgot to mention that part. And yeah, just kind of vibe out. I just shitpost a lot.
Vibes out.
So
And he
true.
does shitpost a lot. A lot. Alec.
Yeah. I'm Alec Gunter. AlecGunter. You can find me on
Okay.
Twitch. You can find me on YouTube as well. I'm trying to get more subscribers.
You can
on there,
never
so-
find him on Twitter anymore.
What?
He's a-
Oh,
You
fuck,
can't
shut
find him
up,
on Twitter.
dude. I got fucking nuked by
Alec
turfs
not get
again.
banned
All right.
challenge.
Anyway, you
That's
can.
your fault, though.
Huh?
You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing.
I know. I was like that much too inflammatory. Anyway. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitch. You will eventually be able to find me on Twitter again.
Go on Twitch.
And we do politics, leftist stuff, and gaming and memeing, and try to keep it fun. So come follow if you want. Please.
Cat.
Hi, I'm Kat. You can find me at KATARANA somewhere, probably everywhere. I stream when my upload speed isn't 1 megabyte per second, so it might take a little while. Yeah, come watch me figure out why am I having such an interesting quarter life crisis. I've moved 3 times this year. I'm probably gonna move 4 times. It's sick.
That is a lot.
I don't know why. Dude, why would I build routes places if I can basically every 4 days have to buy a new set of hangers in a different city?
Just keep it going. You know, make it your like style that you just move. You're just
Yeah.
like a vagabond.
Yeah,
Big word.
yeah.
Gosh. You could become a
Merrick?
train hopper.
There you
I am Merrick DeVille. I
Thank you,
think
Merrick.
if you are on the Shark stream, you probably know me. We're buddies. You can find me at Merrick DeVille on Twitch and YouTube, and then my friend has a Twitter that's at Punished Mother, and she will relay to me whatever you guys say on there.
Yeah, Merrick doesn't like to have a Twitter. It's bad for her mental health. So
Yeah.
I respect that.
I try to
respect
fist fight people if I'm on there for too long, so.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, especially statewide politicians. 100%. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate
Thank you.
it. Take care of yourselves.
I'm Seductive Seaweed. I do politics.
I'm sorry. I thought you shot yourself.
You're good. You're good. I just thought I'd throw it out there. I also talk politics, do gaming, all that fun stuff. I'm a Navy veteran. I like to talk about the military-industrial complex, as well as an Ivy League student that likes to talk about film and propaganda. So, yeah.
It's a beautiful.
And I like
thing.
fundraisers and cool shit like this.
Oh, and at
We love
690
it.
followers, we're doing a Catboy stream, so keep that in mind, Shark followers.
Based.
Yeah, 100%. We love they love the cat streams. Take care, everybody. Thanks for having me
Take
on.
care.
And
Bye, I love
Bye, Shark. Great talking to
Bye.
you, buddy.
Thank you, Shark, so much.
Take care of yourselves.
And yeah, if anyone wants to talk, and thank you, Merrick, for the follow.
First, no.
But yeah, if anyone wants to talk, they can do so in my Discord. I can send you a link for that too, as well. Or if
Did
they
we
just wanna chat.
did we have a series of questions that people had already queued up, or were we gonna have
No.
people?
We would have people that we'd pre-screen first, real quick.
Okay,
But,
cool.
no.
Yeah.
But if we don't have anyone, that's fine.
Well, I can start us off with a question about my personal life.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Just it's a pretty simple one related to what we were just talking about. There's this girl there are many girls at my gym who I am very interested in. But it's like when you're at the gym, you're not really wearing much. You're not wearing makeup. Your hair is whatever. Like everything's whatever. But I'm still interested in them. But they're doing their own thing, right? So what is because like I see them all the time, so part of me is just like, maybe I just go up and say, hey, what's up? I see you here a lot, like what's going on, like
Come here often.
come here often. Hey. You working hard or hardly working, right? Right. So what's like, and I know that girls are not always there to be picked up on by dudes. That's why I'm hesitating, right? I don't want to be rude, whatever. So what would you guys' suggestion be for that? It can also just be don't.
I would err on the side of saying don't, probably.
Yeah.
Because I think that this is a huge thing that women talk about, where they're like, I really don't want to be I don't want to be hit on while I'm trying to work out. Like, I'm going to the gym because I want to work out. So I think it's another one of those like time and place things. And I mean, if you find yourself just like naturally having conversations occasionally and like small talk with women in your gym, like, yeah, sure, go for it. But and like, you know, continue that small talk and small talk and see if you can like, if foster like a relationship from that. But I think erring on the side of just probably don't.
Fair enough.
Maybe perhaps if you see them leaving and you happen to be leaving at the same time, you could just say like, hey, I think you're cute, and I would want to ask you out sometime, but like, also make it clear that like, I'm not going to ruin your workouts if you don't say.
Yeah, because you'll have to see each other a lot after that if she's not interested.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask, kind of like as a caveat on that, maybe too, like, always a good, like I was talking about like relationships just in general, and just like desexualizing the idea. Like, you can always just make friends with somebody at the gym first, or like be like not in a weird way, not expecting anything.
Well, and I've done that with a few
even
guys
just
and even one
approaching
girl
someone
there,
that's-
but that girl's in a relationship and not, we're just like chummy with each other. Usually that starts off though because I'm like wearing an anime shirt or they're wearing one, or like they got a nice tattoo or something.
Rubes
and
in
it's
the
dudes.
wild.
It's mostly dudes really, because I just like, I don't know, like, hey, I like your tattoo, man. Like, and there was this really big buff jack dude that I once bit like way bigger than me, and I was like, I gotta ask, like, how much do you bench? I have to know. And he's like, well, at my peak, just this is a tangent, but he was like, at my peak, he lifted he benched like 600 something. I'm like, or like close to it. I'm like, that is insane. But like, I don't know. Like, I enjoy talking to people. It's just that like when it comes to, you guys know how it is when there's that, that person you're attracted to. It's like you hesitate. You don't want to be weird. You don't want to like come off like you're trying to date them, even though you kind of are a little bit. So that's all. I know that, like, I don't know. That was all.
Yeah, I think in general there's like ways that you could do it. I think it's always good to just establish with people like, and you can say no, and I will not make your life suck. Because like a lot of times, like, I guess there always feels like a certain level of pressure, like, oh fuck, if I say no to this guy, I can't go to the gym anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, you definitely gotta be careful. I mean, like, I think the big thing is, like, I think Kat's right about, like, when you're leaving the gym is probably the best time to do that kind of thing. Or, like, because it's after the workout, too. Like, even, and, is it, like, it's the least amount of pressure, and if you're not weird about it, too. Because I think even, like, trying to create a friendship and still have the same, because no one knows what your intentions are when you approach them in the gym. Like, even if you're trying to be friends kind of thing. Like, you're still, and also a lot of times, even me, like, I don't like being bothered when I'm working out. Like, I like kind of just being in my zone, listening to my shitty music or podcasts and like vibing out.
Yeah,
So-
some of us have goals that we're trying to hit. Like whenever I'm at the gym,
Yeah.
I try to get like 500 calories out of my body in under an hour. So if you're talking to me, you're really fucking up what I'm trying to do.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Especially
got
for
my
me
goals
to
too.
like exercise.
Kat is on her Sigma grind set, and if you could
on-
not fuck that up, that would be great.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, getting that Sigma grind set.
Excuse me, sir. I'm losing like 10 calories per minute by you talking to me right now. Yeah. Like,
Man.
Man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I figured that. I've read memes online where it's like, look, I'm sweaty and gross right now. I'm not trying to be hit on, so
Yeah.
I do err on the side of caution when it comes to the gym.
just make sure you don't do it during like the squats day, because then I'm really like, you good? Like you see something that you're trying to hit on?
Yeah.
Or you like what you're seeing? Because I
Yeah.
prefer that if you don't see.
Yeah. I catch myself looking respectfully, but mostly I'm just there to do my own thing.
It's definitely okay to look respectfully. I think that there's definitely times where I'm like, you have been staring at me for 35 seconds.
Yeah.
I am so uncomfortable. Please stop. Because so I think the thing is, like, when you're staring at me for a long time, am I free bleeding and I don't realize it? Like, is there a giant mustard stain on my shirt? Like, why are you staring at me? Please stop. You're making me uncomfortable, because I start to be like, what's wrong with me?
At a certain point, I almost wonder, wouldn't it be like more acceptable for them to just be like, yeah, I think you're hot? Like,
yes.
You know?
Been
like,
staring for that for a long time?
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
At least then you know.
Yeah.
So that's just me.
I grew up in a culture where like looking at people's like not okay. Like you're not supposed to look for super long. So like if anyone's looking at me, I'm like, can I help you? Which makes it awkward, but like you started it, so
yeah, true.
You started it. True.
Yeah. And I also look at dudes, but not like in that, and it's not in the same way. I look at dudes like, you know, who are lifting.
Big.
You know what I mean?
Why are you so
appreciate the man.
strong?
Yeah. No, I compare myself to them more than anything.
No, that's,
I'm
I mean,
very-
that's also another conversation. Yeah, you know, it's like it's tough. That's tough too. Good thing, and also I don't. That's why I do that too. But I also like not a fan of that. Like I've struggled with that kind of thing sometimes, where it's like you're just comparing.
Yeah. No homo. At least
No,
in
not
that
like,
circumstance.
Yeah. No
You know.
homo, but hopefully also no like.
No homo, but also not
insecure
completely
disorder.
hetero.
100%
Oh.
true.
Well-
Also, there's like always like aggressive guys. Like I've been approached too by like dudes being like, "Yeah, man, you just gotta like so recognize me, like you just gotta come every day," and like they'll try to give you advice like unprompted. Just like,
I love those guys who are like, and I've talked to one girl actually recently at that same gym, and we were just like talking like friendly, and she was telling me how she did like 3 a days, and she would come to the gym and like run for an hour, and then she would come back later and do like shrugs and I'm like,
Jesus Christ.
do you do anything else?
No, yeah, my Uber driver
Like-
showed me his progress pics this weekend. He was like,
Wild
showing me his,
stuff.
Like, bicep and shit. So I mentioned I was at the gym, and I was like, well, I was late to my friend's house, and he was like, "Oh, you go to the gym?" And he just got super excited, just like, I go like 4 hours a day
Amazing.
every day, and I'm like,
Right.
Jesus
Dude,
Christ, like,
I'm like, what's funny is like, I don't know if it's my ADHD. I get like, well, it probably is. I get executive dysfunction. So like, even if I want to go to the gym that day, like, I won't go for like hours. And then when I finally go, I feel like I'm in a hurry to get out. But like, even if I'm enjoying it, for some reason, I don't know
every
what
time,
it is.
everywhere.
These guys that are like, I understand because I've felt it before where I'm like just really in the moment. And I'm like, like, but there are people who are like that, like 24/7, where they're just like, I gotta get after it. And I'm just like, okay, dude, calm the fuck down. Like, you don't have to be in the gym 7 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, I promise it's like 4 to 5 days tops is fine. 6 maybe.
It generally scares me. Like if a guy has like abs, I'm like, why?
I'm
Like
starting to get my abs
I,
back.
I'm
Why?
I like me some soft boys, okay? I just like people that like however you came out of the womb. It's the way I like my men.
Like
just
potatoes?
You buff. Oh my god.
You're starting
you
to
can't just ask people why they're buff. Jesus.
I just don't see the utility. Like, why
Well,
are
there's-
you like
right.
this?
I mean, to a
Because I
certain
want to, like a washboard. Well, never mind. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. This is way too much information.
I'm starting to get
Me
the abs back.
personally, I'm here for the cuddle factor. So the more people work out, I'm just like, you don't look like you're very fun to cuddle.
That's fair.
And also, you look like you're heavy, and
I'm very happy.
that, yeah. So like, you seem like a great guy and all, but like, also don't ever call me. No, like I don't know. Like I'm personally like, if a guy tells me like I went to the gym and he tells me more than once in a month, I'm already like, why?
Look, I understand when people look at me and they're not attracted to me because I'm not attracted to me. I love my body and I
That's
love the way that I look, but I look at other dudes who look like me and I'm like, I don't want to fuck a gorilla. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that other people do, and I love looking like a goddamn bear, but that's not what I want sexually, you know? So like, I get that. I like soft boys and girls. You know, I actually also what's weird is like I like muscular girls, but I don't like muscular guys. You know, like I don't know what's up with that. But I like I like soft boys, but I also like soft girls. So like I'm more picky with the boys. It's interesting.
We need more love for muscular women. Do you remember when that lady posted on Twitter that she had abs and Sargon was like, "The West is dying"?
That sounds about right.
Dude,
You just want to lick it.
I was gonna
Just
bring up
lick
sharks.
them.
I'm down for step on me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Step on me.
I was gonna bring up Shark's
If you
post
want
before he
to.
left, the one that got like 300,000 likes, where it's like,
Oh, the women one. Like the
yeah,
favorite
people
genre.
on the internet discovering women for the first time is my favorite genre of post. It's so
Yeah,
good.
Brenna's like, I'm mutual to this person.
It's like I've seen so many posts where they've taken like a video game character or like a
Yeah.
comic book character and then they ran her, they like yassified her,
Yeah.
and
my
they're
God.
like, this is what a real woman looks like. And I'm like, I would have to put on 10 pounds of makeup and learn how to contour in the first place to look like that. This is
Right.
not what a real woman looks like.
Remember
You are insane.
You want to see?
Horizon Zero Dawn? That people were like,
Yeah.
she has a
Yes.
beard.
Flying her.
Oh my
You guys wanna see
God.
something wild?
Fucking eyeliner and shit, and it's like,
You guys
What
wanna
were you
see
saying that's
something wild?
wild?
also, those games, like half the time, you don't even see their face; they're fucking facing the other direction. Like, how does that? I don't know. It's
But she has to have full contouring. Like
Yeah,
she's
there's a full
going out to a nightclub though that you're never gonna see.
Real.
She
you're
has to
never gonna
have it.
see, except in like the occasional cutscene, which you
Yeah.
probably skip anyways, because no one watches cutscenes.
I'm sorry. I need to make sure my women in video games are fuckable as they go and shoot
course.
arrows into robot animals. If I don't want to
Oh,
bring
yeah.
my little fucking ding dong to it, then why am I playing it?
Where's the
Everything
graphics?
needs to be softcore porn and the kind that I like all the time, or I will
Yes.
have a meltdown on Twitter. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Guys, I have to show you something. Do you know? So I've been on a Pokemon grind lately. Like I've been doing a lot of Pokemon, and so like
Which one?
one time I like looked up the gender. Like was trying to look up the list of like the non-gendered Pokemon, right? Because they've always had non-gendered Pokemon. Most of the legendaries are.
Yeah,
And,
they're all.
I looked up a list, and I'm gonna share a screen for a second. There was a guy who decided that the gender-neutral Pokemon were masculine, and he decided to make feminine versions of them.
God, dude.
Oh.
My God.
It looks
He
so
said, these Pokemon are not fuckable enough for me.
I know,
Well,
right?
Will
I know.
bad.
I'm sorry. Who like
The Eminem all over again.
It's added pink and, like,
fish?
See, but here's the
That's
thing.
Yeah, dude.
Now you can more easily see that they have the feminine features, such as the pink and the frills.
You get the pink and the frills.
They are
You are
softer.
Ben Shapiroing us.
Also, already can change.
I see it now. See this? Yeah, the pink fish thing. Yeah, its hair wasn't snatched like originally. So at least now, like they got that fucking like they put that what do you call it? Miss Jessie's multicultural curls up in its fucking fins.
Yeah.
Let's
So
go.
true.
Yeah.
Also, Groudon looks terrible. Like it just.
And
the
what I
new
find-
version- I don't know.
it's almost innocent because like this guy's not doing this to like get some kind of own on anybody. He doesn't think that he doesn't even understand what he's doing. He's just like
Yeah.
out here on YouTube making masculine versions of the feminine Pokemon and feminine versions of the masculine Pokemon. And I think it's very funny. Like like just something about it is it's a testament to like how ingrained gender norms are, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I
he
don't
doesn't even know what he's
Honestly,
doing.
This just looks like a bunch of really non-aerodynamic shit to me right now.
Right?
Like I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not efficient for the fish.
There's
They're
no-
having a fucking the drag on that. Oh my god, they're having a
Rayquaza is
horrible
the
time.
All
most
they did was like
offending.
make it pink, and they made all the circles on their designs into hearts.
Right?
Like,
Like
on the
literally.
knees.
Yeah, that would be a lot easier for bending, I'm sure. Yeah, have you? Can I get a crumb of ligament?
Women
Oh
are
man!
born
And
with-
then on the post that Shark had, I'll stop sharing screen. On the post that Shark had, there was that one chick. I forget what the name of the game was.
Dynabone?
There was that one chick who's like out in the wilderness. What was the
Zero
name?
Dawn?
What was it?
Yeah.
Is
I
what
think
we're
it was
talking
Horizon
about?
Zero Dawn, right?
I think so. With the one
Yeah,
girl,
that's
who
what we were
had,
talking
like her
about.
face is a little
It
bit
was
chubby.
Horizon Zero Dawn, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a
and-
little bit of like hair.
Right. Yes, that. But also,
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Just
my,
peach fuzz
that
on
was
her.
funny. But my big thing is like when they altered her, they gave her makeup. I'm like,
Yeah,
bruh.
they literally yassified her. Yeah.
Alex showed up 5 minutes late to the same conversation.
Yeah, he was in the same. He
Yeah,
was in
no.
the combo.
Oh, yeah, you guys were talking about this
Just
already.
like beat per beat. No, it's fine.
Okay.
No, it's all
But
good.
I'm just
But
like,
no, it,
where did she get eyeliner, man? Like,
Oh my god, they're living in like post-apocalyptic, like they're living in the fields, like the only machines are literally predators, but they do have a Sephora, so
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
covered.
Yeah.
Yes. We go to Victoria's Secret out here in the woods, in the post-apocalyptic wild,
That's
to
Yeah.
pick up our
It's still-
makeup
it's
bags.
So
still-
true, bestie.
That's how it's secret now. It was always.
She
that.
actually had to reinvent contouring because there were no YouTube tutorials available.
real.
She went out. She had her man go out and stab some horrible monsters and collect their black blood to use as her makeup.
She
Yeah.
forged the new Stilla eyeliner on her own.
No.
So true.
No.
Crude oil.
Her husband did
She's
that.
like,
Okay.
so
Oh my
I'm
God.
just
True,
imagining
true.
her like being in a cave, like drawing like a camera, like symbol up on the wall, and just being like, "Hello, sisters." So today,
Oh.
Hi guys.
that's
I don't
so
know.
sad.
Look, if there's a
The
post-apocalyptic
Egyptians had
world,
eyeliner.
if there's a post-apocalyptic world, I'm gonna show my entire ass like right now. If there is a not really, if there is a post-apocalyptic world that I live in, I would probably fucking do that. I would probably draw a rectangle on a cave wall
oh,
and then
for
like
sure.
write words on it like it's chat and just be like, okay, hey guys, we're back today. And
Every
it's
day,
day
literally
it's
talking
day
to the
67. It's 2 more
No.
days, guys. 2 more days until 69 days in Hell World. Let's go, boys. Oh man, dude, I would
Oh.
fucking go
I have a
nuts.
fake soundboard that's just
You
you making
will-
sound.
You will
say
not
that-
believe how many times during the last like 3 weeks while I've been trying to figure out things in Berlin, I've just like walked up to like, you know, my friend and just been like, "What's up, guys? It's your girl, Small Dick 27, back in." Like, I don't.
Don't
yeah,
forget to
I-
smash that like button.
I've had it where like I'm sitting at my computer. Now this is a different topic, but like I've realized my identity as like a streamer has become so much more ingrained in my head because I was even dreaming I was still in the military, and then they were like, "Oh, but now I streamed for the military." And they're like, "Oh, you have a promotion coming up." I'm like, "Oh my god!" I woke up. I'm like, "That was terrifying." But even then, I'll be on my computer, not streaming, just doing something, and then I'll look to my camera, like as if I'm talking to it, and I'm like, "No!" Like I'm.
I
having
talk
these
to
weird
myself
deja vu,
more.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very weird.
Yeah, and into the shower too.
Yeah.
I like start to like rehearse things that I'm going to say.
Mhm.
Like it's really weird.
Yeah,
Which
when I, can't
I guess
verbally
that's
use
just
my chat, I
natural.
just do my coworkers instead, so it's kind of different vibes.
Thankfully,
Different
I just
vibes,
work in
not
an
the
office
same.
alone.
Yeah, I like being able to ban people, but
Yeah.
I think we're running down here though. So if anyone else has like something that they want to add or say, and then like,
Any screeners?
Nobody's calling.
um,
Hey guys, I forgot that I had a movie night planned
No
with my
worries.
Discord. So yeah, it's like 6:30 here, so we're gonna
Sure.
go ahead and get started with that. Thank you so much
No,
for
thank
inviting
you.
me on. And can we do the same thing that Shark did? Can you guys shout everything out
Mhm.
just so people will remember?
I'll throw it in your chat.
Okay, cool. Cal will throw it in the chat. Alec.
Yeah, I'm Alec Gunter, AlecGunter. I do leftist streaming, politics, video games. I'm the video game boy. You can tell by my big muscles, and we have fun time here. So definitely come give me a follow and check me out on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter when I'm unbanned in a week.
No, they're not.
Thank
Twitter.
you.
Don't even try. It's gonna be gone.
yeah, he will be.
Yeah.
Sounds okay.
Bitch, you're bald. I don't
I
give a fuck
would
about
just
your
say, yeah, I
hair
just
down
posted
Yeah.
my link over in your chat, Merrick. And then, yeah,
Mhm.
for your chat, I suppose some things that you might be interested in is I'm the one that hosted the Black History Month panel that Vosh moderated the last one
Yes,
of.
very
I also had like 3 others before, and I also debated the same like anti-fat professor guy. So if you would like to watch, I don't know, him tell me that my mind is darkened and me reply with, well, I am black. You should go watch that.
Absolutely incredible. What a wonderful meme. Thank you for that very much. Seaweed.
My name is Seductive Seaweed. As I mentioned before, Navy vet, film student. Love to talk about propaganda, the military-industrial complex. I've done some really cool fundraisers with people like Denims. We earned $4,000 for actually the Student Workers of Columbia, where I go to school. That was probably one of my biggest accomplishments. We did that this year on the 2nd of January.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it's been
really
a crazy year for my stream. But I'm hoping to do more things like this. I'm actually hoping to make this more of a monthly maybe panel where we get more voices on this type of thing, because as we were mentioning, intersectionality is a huge factor in this. There's so many people that experience misogyny from many different perspectives, toxic masculinity from different perspectives. And I'm tired of just like the debate space and having it be a debate thing. Rather, I'd much have it be educational. And lastly, I just want to add, Merrick, there's something I wanted to get to sometime, but because I was thinking a lot about like infantilization and pornography and consent and whatnot, and I was curious sometime, maybe in the future, we can talk about like ethical porn.
Check out
and
Gunther. Why,
also-
dude? He's baiting.
yeah, and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'd
I
love that.
also I have a lot of thoughts on ethical porn. I only
Phenomenal.
subscribe to porn sites that are run by women, so if you want to
That's awesome.
that, I'm here for that.
No, that would be great. I'd love to talk to you both about that.
And I'll
Yeah,
do it
that sounds
real
fun.
quick.
Yeah.
It's me, Speener. I am Sens Rules. I'm gonna put my link in the chat, but it's because everyone's spelling it out now. SENZERULES. I think I spelled it right. But yeah, my name's Spencer. Speener, Speenus, anything. Sens. I cover politics. I also I majored in physics in college. Just finished that. I work in politics now. I also was a jazz minor, so I do music a little bit too sometimes. I sometimes do music streams, not all the time though. And so I do a lot of shit posting, a lot of music stuff, a lot of and when I talk about politics, a lot of it's like queer politics or energy specifically. So if you like that kind of thing, like shit posting, like having a good time, vibing out, just come on over. It's pretty good. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah,
Can I
thank you
ask-
guys so much.
Can I ask a favor?
No, thank you all.
Yes,
quick?
yes, you can.
Can you show my YouTube link that I put in the Discord?
Never.
Yes,
you
yes.
so much.
Did you put it? Did you
I-
put it in the depths?
I put it in the group,
in the group.
the
I?
misogyny group.
Thank you all for the
The
follow.
one where we
that's
talk
huge.
about
Wow.
misogyny.
Yeah, yeah. It's the one where we're
How much you love
misogynistic.
it. Yeah,
Okay,
Mhm.
there we go.
So,
I'll
one
pop
more
this in
thing.
my chat.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
we also- yeah.
love you guys so much.
Love ya.
Good night.
Thank
Great to
you
talk
so
to
much,
Merrick. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Mhm.
Hi.
Thank you.
I was
All
also
right.
gonna say I should probably end up
All
skedoodling
good.
myself
Okay.
since
Good.
it's 12:30 my time.
No, all good.
Right.
But I
12:30
did,
PM?
yeah, 12:30 a.m.
Oof.
But I did just want to say real quick that yeah, whenever there's some type of situation going on Twitter or anything, and a woman's complaining about something, and for some reason men start getting all up in there and being like, "This isn't real," or it's not that
Mhm.
serious. With the whole thing of why you originally did this, I
Mhm.
should just I implore people to stop being so fucking parasocial all the time and just sometimes
Yeah.
think for yourself. I've seen people say
Yeah.
things sometimes, and it seems like they only repeat words as slogans and never think about what the thing
Mhm.
means critically. They'll say believe all women, but then if their dad says don't believe that woman, then they won't believe that
Mhm.
woman. And yeah,
Exactly.
sometimes just I don't
Agreed.
know fucking we're supposed to be progressives and we're supposed to be the ones that are actually thinking, but it seems like sometimes we're just reciting things. So yeah, listen to women and then actually sometimes make the judgment for yourself as to who's correct. And just because your favorite YouTuber daddy boy says the woman's wrong, it doesn't make them automatically wrong.
Right.
And yeah, like you don't like a lot of people don't realize like what the gravity of this like these type of situations are. Like for your favorite YouTuber, that might just be like something that they do to generate clicks for a day. But like for those women, a lot of times it can like cause like them to start like second guessing themselves. Like somebody telling someone that's like stealthing is like not actually rape can cause like a lot of issues. Like even there's a lot of times like where us as like rape victims will like not even be able to like we think essentially the only time it is rape is like if you're sitting there and like kicking a stranger and screaming no in the bushes, and like people saying like that certain things aren't rape that are or aren't assault that are or aren't actually harassment that are, causes like a lot of women to start thinking more and more about like what did I do wrong, and like the answer is you didn't. Somebody was being a piece of shit in the end.
Right.
And the fact is like what you just said, most rapes are not just some random stranger.
Casual. It's usually some sort, not casual. It's usually someone you know like intimately, or like a friend, or like someone. It's not some random.
Or a
like,
friend of a friend, or something like that.
You're
It's
bald.
never just like,
Fuck about your
or not never, but it's rarely just like the random guy in the park or whatever.
The whole thing is that like people like are already afraid to come out about like, oh, I was assaulted or raped, because they're like no one's gonna believe, or they're not gonna think it qualified. You know what I'm saying? And then like, but then we'll have these spaces that are supposed to be like, oh, we believe women and stuff, and yet when it happens here, we model the exact behavior that we criticize, because people will be like, well, actually, start qualifying things and start, adding like the stealthing thing. It's like, well,
Yeah, qualifying what at like what point is it now rape, or what point, or it's not as bad, or not as it's just all those type of things.
Yeah, and I suppose like in my experience, like a lot of times, let's say there was like a time in which my main like sense of like social sphere was Twitch, and like I had to take like a major step back because I realized that like if something goes wrong here, like it can cause you to have like a lot of issues. And as a result of like some issues I had back in August, I started like actually doubting myself, like, wait, like did I deserve what happened? Like did I do something wrong? And it wasn't until like I asked my outside friends for help, like to talk to me, and I explained it to them, that they were like, how are you actually confused about whether or not this is a real problem? Like no, like what you experienced was like abjectly like misogyny, the fact that like no one wanted to talk or listen to you, even though we are supposedly supposed to be acting in a leftist space where people typically are supposed to care about like what happens to women. And yeah, I think I think it's just kind of strange. Like I think a lot of people here typically like to think that they're like really good people and that they're like really good allies, and unfortunately like I think the space can make, I feel like I've become more distrustful of men over the time of me being here, because I'm like, I thought you guys were supposed to be the allies, and you're not being very good allies, like, or it just seems like a lot of times people it seems like people are just like really good at like running at like drama and whatever makes them money, and like it even though we're supposed to be the people that don't care about money, like they still will run towards whatever can give them the most like social mobility within the Twitch space over like their actual moral system, and it's it can get really tiring.
Agreed.
So so I used to be bigger than all you fuckers, but then I stopped streaming because I hate all of you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, the comeback is happening, so.
Yeah, the comeback is happening, and it means a lot that you came by. I really like what you helped provide, and I absolutely do agree with, and that's actually something I know we touched on it, but it was actually one thing that I wanted to talk more about was sexism in leftist spaces, because there's a lot of like, I think there's a belief that like, I think you both, Merrick, and you brought it up, but like this belief of like, oh, well, I'm a progressive and I believe all these things, which means I can't be like sexist. I think there's like this weird like false notion that
I believe in gender abolition, so thus like there's no way I was being misogynistic to you. And I'm like, but you were, and you're like, but I wasn't, but you were, but like I love women, okay, but you were like
my mom's a woman, okay?
Yeah, like I remember being pushed out of a twat, so I love them. I'm like, okay, but you were. Yeah.
Wait, you
No.
remember that
Oh, for
shit?
sure.
Damn.
Some people say that shit. They're like, I remember my birth. I'm like, no, you don't.
There
Shut
was
up.
like there's
yeah,
like
there's no fucking
5
way,
people
like-
in the entire world who remember, I think, and that's it.
Yeah, and they're 1 year old right now, so.
Well, I mean,
It's true.
And they were just born, okay?
They're
Yeah.
gonna forget very soon.
you know who's one of them
Yeah.
that was? Albert Einstein.
Yeah. Yeah.
Karl
Yeah,
Marx too.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Same for-
But yeah, I just wanted to like, I do realize like it was something that was on my mind for a while, but I didn't like bring up. But I also didn't want to like derail the conversation too much, and also
No.
since if there were too many people like around, I just didn't want you to have the potential
because of the
fallout.
people coming by. Because yeah, I know if some people like were watching, and then more people would watch and stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
I'm
Real quick before you dip out, I just wanted to let you know on your link tree, your Discord link needs to be fixed.
Oh, just needs a
Yes.
refresh. Make it a infinite link or infinite uses and infinite time.
yeah. Let me just fix
I'm
that
already
right
part
now.
of the Discord, so I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, but yeah, it's been nice seeing you again, Sans. It's been like, I don't know, a while time. It's been a time period, and then it's nice to meet you other two.
Yeah.
If you
Nice
ever
to
need
meet
me
you.
for panels, like I'm cool to come. Like, why would I go to work completely functional? That's dumb as shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So dumb. No, and I'm definitely interested in talking to you about the ethical porn stuff. So I will definitely reach out to you again.
Perfect. So
Awesome.
tout à l'heure, I will fix my Discord link. So try it again in like 2 minutes, and then
Mhm.
other than that, like yeah, I bid you adieu.
I do, dude.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Right. All right, you dorks, get the fuck out of my no.
Yeah, I'm leaving. I have
No,
to
you're
go
good.
to the
Fuck.
gym.
Oh, this is all
and
that's
get some
left?
Groceries. Yeah, it's all that left. These two fuckers.
Hmm.
These 2
Mhm.
pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Now it's time to be misogynist. Okay.
Finally,
woman.
guys. Now we can go.
I'm saying it.
I'm saying it, dude.
No.
I'm saying
No.
it, dude.
Thank you, Alec, for the graphic. By the way, that was really
welcome.
cool.
The
of you to do
American
it so quickly.
Insert for the best guest you ever have. And
That's
that's
very
it.
good.
It's always hard to be like, just, I don't know. I try to be a little funny, but it's hard when it's a big group. It's always fucking.
Oh, it is. It's always tough. And I saw you like Alec, you're like, you gotta insert yourself, but like literally a part of what I was trying to do a lot more too, and because Kat brought this up, and I think it was a very valid point, and also Katarana and Critical Ace Theory, because I was talking to them about it, but especially this being like my first like doing something like this,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that keeping like letting marginalized voices and women be heard, especially in regards. So I was trying to find that balance,
Kinda
but
weird how you don't
Have to
count-
be
you don't
assertive,
count
seaweed.
gamers, though, you know, as
Thank
marginalized. I'm a gamer, and I didn't feel really prioritized in this conversation. So
but
cancel.
no matter what, though, it was a lot of fun. I think you were very
Oh.
funny, Sans.
Thank you. I mean,
Merrick
you
brought a lot of good
you
humor.
laughed. and no
Funny
one
looking.
else laughed, and I was like, I'm just gonna. I'll take it as a W. You know.
Nah,
No, it was fun.
Wait.
Though. Also, it was kind of scary at the beginning when the Destiny was watching. I was like, damn.
dude, I was scared. I was scared. I was
trying to, like,
Dude, I was freaking
I
out.
wasn't scared. I was just kind of like annoyed. I guess I was like, why?
I-
I mean, I get why.
I
It's,
wasn't-
just, like, it's on a public platform. I don't blame him. It's like, you know, but like,
No,
I-
It's just bad act. Like it's just he's not doing this for a good reason. You know, I guess he
Yeah.
technically has the right to do it or whatever. But like, come on, man, you're being a
Well,
shitter.
I didn't mind. Like after it was just at first, I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? And like, I've had like bot follows, but I'm like, they don't look like all bot names.
no, that's what I said. I don't think it was a hate rate
no.
because we had normal names.
No,
Like-
exactly. But then you're like, oh, you're on Destiny stream, and I was like,
Yeah.
my eyes
it
widened.
made me so nervous at the beginning. I didn't know how to
4,000
answer your
viewers.
question.
I
I
just
was just
stopped.
like-
I just stopped.
What,
thinking
no,
about it.
once Prodigy came in, and like we just like we did the groundwork to ban who we needed to ban, turned to
Yeah.
sub only mode, and did all that. Prodigy is a fucking king. I forget their
John
pronoun,
was,
Emperor for sure.
Was Prodigy? I think he was in my chat. Was he the one who did that?
OG
list?
Prodigy. OG Prodigy made Posada Bot.
Oh,
Are you streaming too, Alec? Are you live right now?
Yeah, I'm streaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't stream today.
So-
We're memeing.
Yeah, on Speeds.
Got you. No, like, but no, he remember they came in and helped me during the fundraiser because
Yeah.
like Eden wasn't here immediately, and then they came in and just did all that. And then same with here. I'm like, I see all that happening, and I see Prodigy come in and just like
Clap.
do these commands. Like these, I don't know like half of these commands for Passad bot,
No,
but they
he's-
made it, and they're just like bandwave. I'm like, oh my god, it's so
Yep.
nice.
It was
Yeah,
very
really.
satisfying. We did the same thing. John ran in my chat.
Yeah.
Also, we had a guy come in
But-
who was trying to bring up the Leah Thomas shit, but the way he put it
Leah
was like,
Thomas.
"Did you hear about
Oh,
the
is that
guy?" Huh?
Oh yeah, the trans woman who like everyone's
Yeah.
freaking
Oh,
out.
The
Leah
swimmer.
Thomas.
Yeah,
No one watches women swimming. I'm sorry, like I was telling my
Right.
dad about this. Two
But-
weeks ago, like, yeah, long day at work. I'm gonna go watch ESPN women swimming right now.
but like, he came in here, which is hilarious because that's why I got banned on Twitter, is because I have a post right now. This is tangential, but I have a post right now with what is it? I think 21
Yeah,
likes
that
and
one
like
gained so
116
much
comments.
traction.
It's insane. And all I said was
100
nobody
likes
gave a
or-
fuck about women swimming until a trans woman was involved, which is true. And anyway, this guy comes in and he's like, what do you think about the guy with dick and balls who did women swimming? And I'm like, I just chatted like in the chat because I want to address this guy with my voice and grace him with that. And I was like,
Yeah.
as far as I know, that didn't happen. Also, we're not talking about that, right? I'm not gonna grant that I know what he's talking about because he's calling Leah Thomas a dude. So he's like, it did happen. I can link you. And then he just straight up says, what did he say? He said, trans women are guys and you can't change my mind. I'm like,
Oh, bro.
then I'm gonna ban you. Like, you admitted that I cannot change your mind.
Yeah,
Why the
it's
fuck would I keep you here? At least pretend, dude. And I like, just why would you come out the gates saying you're here in bad faith? That doesn't make any sense. You know what's gonna happen. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Because
All
I've
right,
held
guys.
people
Thank you.
around, and they
What's
had
up?
me fooled. I said I've held people around because it seemed like they were engaging
Yeah.
in good faith, and then it quickly becomes obvious they're usually not. I do have a couple here and there. I had one guy on Twitter actually, and I'm in DMs with him, or them. I think. What's weird is that they're NB, but they're also like not convinced that
folks?
like trans women are women. It's very It's very strange.
Yeah.
But beside the point, basically we were in a long Twitter argument, and finally they were like, "Oh, you're the most like calm,
Killed.
well-spoken guy I've talked to about this." And I honestly just think it's because I'm a guy. But he was like, "Oh, I do want to talk to you more about this." And so we're like in DMs now, and it seems like they're starting to come around. So it's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. Nice. Well, I'm
Oh.
gonna head out. I gotta go do
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
stuff and walk to Queen Anne and stuff. So I have to
I
walk.
might head out and
All
do
right,
some
guys.
Pokemon before I log off.
That's
Alright.
what the Space Needle is. Haha.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Later,
Miss y'all.
Seaweed.
We're
Thanks for
gonna
having
talk
us.
and hang out soon.
Yeah.
Hey, by
Yeah.
the way, just real quick, I wanna express my thank you properly, because I appreciate you putting this together so that I could talk to Shark again, and also talk to
course.
Merrick for the first time. That was very fun. So thank you.
No, I mean, yeah, I was very excited.
We talk to people that I
And
care
also
about.
Kat. I'm not taking away from that, but
No, it
those
was
were the
fun
two that I knew
it was really
better.
fun
So
it's good to see Kat again because I haven't seen her since like a long time
Yeah.
ago. And then like Merrick, I've been in her streams a lot lately, so it was cool to actually talk to her.
Yeah,
Shark,
exactly.
I'm always
Yeah. I was always just really excited for that because, like I even said when she first came in, she talks about like how I have not seen as many people as like respectful of like and patient as like Merrick
Oh,
on
no,
Twitch.
she's really smart. She
She's-
knows
she's
her
got
shit.
that-
Like I'm like, whenever she argues, I'm like, that's just a good point. I just never.
she's got that patience gene.
Yeah,
Dude, she's so amazing at it, and she's like,
fucking person.
when I remember she was going around talking about the Mr. Girl stuff, she was like, I was hoping that I felt like I was too abrasive. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm like,
she
woman, you're a queen.
That was a deep swept. It was like it wasn't hard to watch. It was nice to watch, but it was like, god damn,
Yeah. Oh, like with Stardust and everything. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
And
All right, bye guys.
Yep.
Love y'all.
Got these-
Boy.